calling the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen meeting to order for December 29th, last one of the year. All three selectmen are present, town administrator is present. Mr. Leo Martell is recording for the citizens of Dunbarton. We have some public officials in the, also, I wanna mention, we have, Jacques Belanger from the Board of Assessors. We have, Conservation Commission Chair from the, about Kimball Pond purchase. We have, Transfer Station Manager, and we have the former moderator.
Did you do Leo?
I did Leo.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, let's go through the minutes first.
I'll make
We
a
we
motion,
we do not have the minutes from last week, we have the minutes from the week before.
I make a motion to accept the December 15th, 2022 as amended.
I second.
Any discussion on those minutes?
With a couple small changes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Justin, I'm giving you time.
I make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes of December 15th, 2022.
I'll second this motion.
All in any discussion on those?
Nope.
Those are not to be sealed? All in favor?
Aye.
Dave, you sign that? Justin, you sign this and we'll switch around. Thank you. And we'll switch around. We'll set a file for the town administrator. Okay, I'm gonna open up the public comment. Many of you gentlemen are already on the agenda, so, this is just general public comment. Back row, Leo.
Yep.
Public comment, sir. State your name.
Fred Mullen, Stock Lane. I just wanna say kudos to every department in this town for turning to get this town back in order again on that stupid storm we had, even though it was out for 4 days.
So, I appreciate you saying those kind words. And, I've been in town for several years. First time I've seen the, I was glad to see, I was very happy to see they opened up the school for a heating center.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure how many people participated, but it was available. Good, back row, sir, anything? Second row? First row? No, okay. I'm gonna close public, comment, and I'm gonna go right into town business. We have a full agenda tonight, so we're not gonna delay, so if I seem like I'm running fast, you wanna slow me down, you may. Okay, first of all, we have the Board of Assessors proposed budget. We have, Jacques Langes, acting chair of the board. Yes, come on.
Your recorder on, Lee?
Yes, it is.
We have a copy of proposed budget.
Yeah, we went over this, meeting last week.
Okay,
We got a slight increase in a couple things, salaries for the secretary, the board of assessors themselves, increase in our cost of software, utility, the GIS system, I guess. Bumping up the appraisal system, we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new building, some pickups, to catch that. And then, a request of the warrant article for, the revale will be coming up shortly. 14,000 with that.
okay.
Where's that 14,000?
Very low.
Bottom line, very bottom of it.
Oh, way down here, okay.
You have to work with Lee to make sure you get the correct, language.
Same thing every year.
Yes, okay,
We just have a new speaker, cause unfortunately we lost Mary.
understood.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, questions? Was
So
the,
your budget's going up to 7,100, but most of it's in that appraisal services.
Yeah.
And so basically you're matching what you spent last year almost.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a bump with the appraisal.
Yeah, because we have several, new, subdivisions that require, land assess review, and in the event, building permits, so there'll be additional building permits for those lots as well.
okay. And the salaries, the administration, were those just based on the 4% alone?
Correct, well, actually, the Board of Selectmen approved 10% for the Board of Assessors, and there's a 4% increase for the new steps, a 6-step wage for
Gotcha.
the,
Are you familiar with that a little bit?
Yeah, we went over that.
We did 10%?
for the Board of Assessors, yes.
It's huge.
Okay, I think it's well presented. Any other questions, gentlemen? If not, we'll.
No, I don't don't think there's nothing we can change on here, I think if they're gonna use those appraisal services are gonna go up,
Yeah.
they've gotta match at least what they had last year, I think this year. We'll see if it drops off after that.
And thank you for stepping up and helping out.
Yeah,
It's a,
this is always a Mary's thing.
yeah, but thank you, it's much noted, it's very much noted and appreciated.
That's it?
Yep.
We're good, thank you.
Good, thank
Can I
you.
just bring up the fact that there is a vacancy now on the Board of Assessors, and, they have kind of reached out to a few people, I don't think they've got any responses or any good.
Can we post it on our website?
At this point, there's only 2 meetings before the end of the term,
We'll still need one though, right?
right,
We at
It's
least
not,
get
it's not that we
somebody-
can't appoint, but someone might be interested to run.
so look to post,
If we post it on our website, hopefully we'll get somebody interested even for town meeting.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking
just-
3 months ahead.
Even
I
a
just-
run.
I'm bugging his, brain for someone that might be interested in running, so.
Something a little younger than us, maybe.
Not many people volunteer.
Yeah, well, they do, but not in this area, I don't think. I think the school has plenty of volunteers, or
Yeah.
a good amount, but, yeah. Otherwise, we haven't really come up with anybody that,
Yeah, in other words, if it's vacant during the election, we have to appoint someone.
Well, we would appoint it now through March,
Right.
and then it becomes a vacancy that will go on the ballot for the remainder of the term, and it's a 2-year term.
Okay.
So
So we
there'll
can
be
think of
two-
somebody, but it's nice to get a
There'll be
recommendation.
2
from
assessing positions available, or open
Yeah.
for this election.
We're leaning you a little bit to help identify someone
yeah,
that we
yeah,
really
we've
wanna
been,
help
we've
out.
been kicking around, but Brian isn't in town that much, he doesn't know a lot of people around
Gotcha.
there. Yeah, I kinda don't hang around that much in town either, so, yeah, we are trying to find somebody.
Okay,
My position's up, and I'll be running again,
okay.
so it's just
We
really.
value the committee's recommendations.
Yeah, no, I know,
Well, thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
alright,
Alright, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Next item is just, Brett, if you want to come on up. This is not a public hearing tonight.
Well, it is at 7:15.
Okay, you got about 6 minutes to talk about what's going on.
Okay, that's good, I'm under the gun here. Last Thursday, the Conservation Commission, on behalf of the town, was the successful bidder on a 28-acre lot that abuts the Kimball Pond Conservation Area. And I brought a little map here that just shows, it's the blue square, no, that's, yeah, it's the blue square right here
You
that
have a
fits right
screenshot
in.
Oh,
to the-
perfect.
Yeah, and TF equals town forest and KP equals Kimball Pond, so those are our two lots that we have, so anyways,
And then it's kind of like a red
Yeah.
jeep trail.
so we were the successful bidder,
It's up there.
we bid, we won at $66,000 for the 28 acres. It was appraised by the town a lot at $132,000.
Reasonably good price.
Well, we paid more, to be honest, than we thought we
Sets
were
right.
gonna have to, but the bidding started at 60,000, so.
Okay.
Somebody offered a $60,000 bid.
Yeah, the other abutter,
Now, there's no road frontage anywhere.
well, there isn't, but,
I don't
the
know
other
what you
abutter
did.
has access, and I put their property.
The dotted line.
Yeah, so that's them right there, they own 2 lots here, and they own another lot over here. And so, they do abut, and there's actually
I've never gone.
an old road that runs up through here, and connects onto the top of the hill at Lake Ache Hill Road.
Yeah.
So,
I think I walked that.
yeah, I didn't even know it had a name, it's called Snow Road, I guess, but anyways, so. There, no access right now, but potentially if that property was sold at some point, there would be, access to it.
So,
yeah.
we're gonna probably announce, for first meeting of the year, we'll go through a public hearing, and we'll accept it, but it's gotta be publicly noticed, Lean,
Yeah,
when
to
we can-
accept the
Already
purchase.
have.
Already
Thank
have, okay, and, I think it becomes a,
Square right there.
Yeah, and then, the goal is to close by the 23rd, that's what the, lawyers, representing the bank basically say in the agreement that I signed of January, yeah. And so we've contacted the town attorney, and he's working on title search and, representing the town at the auction and so forth, so. Okay?
thank you for what you do.
Thanks.
Yeah,
That's great,
all right,
thank you.
yeah.
Can you stick around up here? There's
I'm gonna,
always
yeah.
conservation related, so I might be-
What is this exactly?
Zachary Drive?
Yes.
That's the one to accept the road.
Right.
Did we get the wording right on that?
We actually had,
Town attorney will do that, right?
you're talking about Zachary Drive Hilltop. Okay, so this was tabled from the original public hearing that we scheduled because we needed to do the 14 days, and then we found that the deeds for the roads had not been recorded. So, the owner was nice enough to draft those up. They were verified by the building administrator, and, they have since been recorded, so all fees have been paid, and they're in place, and so he is here after the 14 days notice to, ask the Board of Selectmen to accept the roads as,
Are we releasing any part of a bond for that?
nope, that won't happen, and that's what he had primarily asked us to do, is accept the roads, and that it was, that, Bob, do you wanna speak on that? You had not,
I've got nothing to say unless there's questions.
No, we just have Jeff, so we're gonna maintain the road after, if we do
Yes.
this tonight.
Yes.
And you're prepared for that?
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
That was the thing, and the things, the wording was wrong originally, and it was corrected.
I think that's on a different deed.
Okay,
That's a different piece of
all right,
land.
well, this is a same, somewhat,
Same-
similar
similar-
procedure.
yeah.
Okay, I don't have the paperwork in front of me.
wait, for the, road length,
No, for the, to accept it. For the action,
That's it, I don't know, but
I get nothing. I wanna make sure I get it.
When Bob's sneaking over there, we gotta get rid of the seats around the corner.
I tell you, I can't, you need a mirror over here pointing in the other direction.
Oh, we actually do
I
have
was
a
gonna say,
couple.
that one right there.
Yeah, these binoculars are so small.
Somebody else had that problem too, I
I
guess.
can see it fine.
Yeah. I can see bodies, I can't see personnel.
Yeah, I can see
But I know
people there,
these are-
people are there, but
That's
you
about
can't
all I
see
can
who
see.
it is.
Thank you.
it was noticed appropriately in the paper,
Yes,
and
that's what I wanna make sure, okay.
You want me to make the motion?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the following roads as substantially complete. Zachary Drive, the new section is 954 feet long. Hilltop Lane, 3,250 feet long. And Fairway Drive, 3,272 feet long. I'd like to accept, all three of those as substantially complete, class 5 roads. And the town of Dunbarton will be maintaining them from this point on.
I second that.
Any further discussion, any comments from the road agent, any other additional comments? No. You're completely satisfied?
Yes.
Okay,
I wanna put our thanks out to the builder for going through all the steps to do it properly.
okay, gentlemen, motion on the table, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we got the KTFCA.
Yeah, KFC, a budget request?
Kentucky Fried
I took it from you, used to call him. Forgive me, thing is, this another selectman next to me used to call you KFC, so I just followed his footsteps. It is not KFC for the record.
Town
Town
Forest
Forest
Conservation
so
Area.
this is Ron Jarvis.
Ron,
He's
good
the one-
morning.
Dam Road, Dunbarton,
How are you this evening?
just wonderful.
All right, you got a budget for us.
Ron, do you want me to give them an overview, or do you wanna start with it?
Oh, I don't mind, you can fill in if you want to.
Okay.
This is sort of a reestablishing a line item,
Okay,
which, when the land was given to us, given to the town, the selectmen accepted it, with the two stipulations that the walls are brushed out appropriate time, so we haven't done it every year, but when it needed it. And also that the field be mowed and maintained for nesting birds and so forth. And we were sort of in charge of doing it, and upon the death of Vera Fogg, her husband had already passed away, the town started paying for the mowing, and I'm not sure, in the 3 years they paid, I'm not sure if the walls were ever brushed out all around the fields, like we've had them done recently. So, in like 2009 or 10, the town just stopped paying for any of that. So we, for 1 year, I think we borrowed money from the Conservation Commission to get that done, and then thereafter, we were eventually able to hook up with a farmer who mowed the fields for nothing and took the hay, and that's where we are sort of now. Although we're not paying the, whatever it would cost today to get the fields mowed, we still wanna kind of keep the fields in decent shape, which means occasionally lining and fertilizing, and that's where we are this year.
Will you still maintain the neighbor farmer, taking the hay and?
Yeah, he's still, I talked to him just a couple of days ago, and that's what, see, before, those fields had been mowed just once a year, and they were just full of poison ivy, just woody stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted it, you wouldn't feed that to horses or whatever. Cows will pick through it, and I'm saying this as if it sounds like I know, but this is what I learned from
Okay.
a farmer. Cows will pick through that, and even if they eat some of the poison ivy, apparently as ruminants, it doesn't affect them. So, what we feel like is that keeping the fields in good order, fertilizing occasionally, that it will make them more valuable, obviously. If this guy, who's about my age, if he doesn't do this forever, it'll be easier for us to find somebody to mow them who would be willing to take the hay.
His payment.
If he walks down there and he looks, oh gee, that's in good fields, and they'd be willing to take it, so that's kinda where we are. Well, I'm not sure, out of that 1,000, I'm not sure exactly, cause I talked to the farmer, apparently prices for lime aren't set until spring, so,
It's
you
just
know,
it's an estimate for now.
pardon?
It's an best estimate for now.
Yeah, sort of a best, I'm figuring roughly 500 for the lime. And if it isn't enough to do the whole area, at least to do the worst areas. And then, we sort of decided against fertilizer, because that's, for what we needed to put on there would be well over $1,000. So what the farmers has suggested, this guy, Mr. Searles, he suggested that he has plenty of cow manure, but we would have to get a truck rental,
To spread it.
to get it from his farm in Ware to Dunbarton. And then he's got a spreader and
Okay.
tractors and all of that stuff, so he would take care of that, so. It could end up being more, might be less, I kinda doubt that. Couple inquiries, Dave mentioned before that it was about, for a truck, was about $80 an hour. I called, I talked to Billy Nichols, he said for his 22-yard truck body there, was around $100, which may actually be a better deal if that's filled. But anyway, I figured we would use the remaining 500 and get what we could
For
get
this year, yeah.
for this year out of that.
Mike, just give a little background on it, I'm the selectmen's rep on this.
Understood.
In the last couple of years, I've been asking them to come, I talked with both you and Bob prior about this the last couple of years, wanted to get this line item back on there. They had done some logging and they have a budget left, I think of around $11,000. And what they did is they did some logging down in the lower property so that they would have some money to, work on this area. But their money's not just to work on just that section, it's to work on the whole property. And their money was dwindling away and having no way to get resources again, I said we should put a maintenance line back in yearly. And whether they use it all or give it back to the town at the end of the year, or some years when they do the mowing, like the one day with John Brown was like $1,660 for the brontosaurus to go around the field. And what I told him is he had a bill in the beginning of the year, he could encumber some from the year prior, so that he could cover the $1,600 out of his maintenance budget, cause that's only gonna happen every 3 years, so it'll be sometimes it'll be going for maintenance, sometimes it'll be going for him to get fertilizer, but it's maintaining the property, and part of the agreement we have when they purchase this, Lean just brought it over. It says, as items in related to section A of the town of Dunbarton, maintaining the fields as open space, the town agrees to annually cut existing fields, but only in the fall after the nesting season. There was a big discussion in their board about the nesting season, and they had the state of New Hampshire come out, and there's plenty of nesting areas still left after cutting the fields, because there's some overgrowth areas in the middle for the nesting of the birds.
This was, what Dave just referred to is, this isn't the original gifting, but this was sort of a reaffirmation of what the Fogs wanted the town to do, to maintain that property. And,
So it's basically a town responsibility to maintain that.
Yes, I just want to give you the rest of it, annual cutting and growing along the road frontage
yeah,
of the
there's
stone
another
walls
one if you wanna.
bordering Gorm Pond Road. Annually cut the growth along the stone walls of existing fields between the property that currently of Greenhulge, McKay, and Brady. So as part of that maintenance, I wanted them to have a line item put back in here while we're all selectmen and we're aware of it, to make sure it's there, and whether they use it or not, it'll be up to them like any department. And so, a lot of years, money will come back to the town, and other years, they will encumber money to make sure they get rid of.
This is clearly a responsibility that falls upon the town, and we can't just take a blind eye to it.
And that's why I wanted that line item. Now, after they had done that logging, the previous selectmen took the line item right out for them. And
No, it was actually, I'm sorry,
it was left there.
the reason we did a timber cut was because the selectmen had, oh, you can keep that if you want, is because the selectmen had cut off the money. And Ed White, who was a forester and the chair of the committee at that time, he went down and he did sort of a timber cruise down there, cause we was kinda scrambling to come up with the money, because we felt like, this was an agreement that we, not only the town had made, but we had agreed that we would oversee this. So we did a quick scramble and did a small timber cut down there, and we ended up with 17 grand. The only place we've spent that money is on Fogg's Field, and we've spent now, what, I get about $6,000 we've spent on that field, which is like 4% of the entire Concanaway area. We've spent 30% of our money on that.
Right.
So, so this is,
This is property, with the cellar hole,
Yes.
yes, okay,
So it's up at the top of Gorm Pond, all the
Yes.
fields on both sides of the road right there.
on both sides, okay.
well, the cellar hole, Donna Dunn has been giving the money to do that.
Exactly, no, I just wanna make sure I get a picture in my mind.
Yeah, now this is down the north side of Gorham Pond Road, and then around the field.
Yes,
There's a lower
There's a-
one there that they've been pushing
Right.
there as
yeah,
well.
okay. I have to talk to you something later on, so, okay. I have no problem, we'll put it in for discussion as far as the budget. I think it probably will pass unanimously, but the thing is, right now, it's on the budget proposal right now.
Okay, if there's any other information you need,
Okay, you're the point of contact.
yes,
Very
and
good.
I'll just, matter of fact, these are copies of the original deed that was given, and it says pretty much what the second sheet did as far as who's responsible for what, and
Thank you.
You have enough copies in there?
well, I made more.
Thank you, sir. Okay, very good, I appreciate it.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
so,
you guys.
yeah, we always do our voting at a later point on
Yeah.
our entire budget, but
Yeah.
it'll at least be earmarked in there, and
You got a placeholder in there now, we just gotta, vote on it afterwards.
Okay,
when we-
thank you very much.
Thank you.
thanks for coming in. I just didn't wanna get anything messed up for you.
Okay,
Thank you, Lean.
we have some, contracts we've got now, Lee?
Um,
Oh, yeah, should have some envelopes ready to open up.
no, Actually, they came to email, I only got
Oh,
one,
you only got one?
which is
That's here.
It's on the big sheet.
and you have it,
Oh, it's in red now?
well, it's the revised, so I would,
Just for the public, last week, we had a short selectmen meeting where we opened up bids for the waste transfer of building materials and general waste coming from the transfer station. The bids were incomplete, so we contacted all bidders and we reached out to anyone else who wanted to rebid their process. And that's what we're looking at now. We said we'd accept it by email. It was public knowledge what everyone else bid on it, so it was an opportunity for people to underbid, overbid, whatever they wanted to do. But we needed to make sure that we were comparing apples and apples. Last week, they were so desperate in what they were proposing, we couldn't make a decision. And so the two bidders were asked to at least resubmit, and that's what we're gonna be looking at now. Okay. Woody, you're my subject matter expert, come on up.
Okay, so we did get one new bid in and one updated bid, and one bid stayed the same except for, maybe changing some wording on the bid.
Okay,
Remember, we asked them to change that one paragraph, so
yes, can I see the wording change? I wanna make sure that's on there.
I didn't look at it real quick. So you look there at the,
This is,
I'm gonna look at NSR bid. It looks like a new bid to just compare, are they on here?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay. So let's look at the dollar amounts.
Okay, no, this is still changed, this is one thing I wanna make sure, we had 30 days. Remember, you offered him an order, but he didn't change it.
We just sent it back.
yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Wasn't there one other change I asked him to make?
Yeah, but he
He didn't make any?
refused, no, I think there's a memo or something in there that says that he still disagrees with the,
Oh, trucking.
is that what it was?
Yes, exceptions,
No, it's, yeah, same ones in here, Waste Management takes an exception to the statement, Dunbarton, the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen shall have the right to terminate the contract at any time by giving the contractor 30 days written notice. Remember, they had an issue with that.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, if you think it should be 60 or 90, then propose something
he
to us.
didn't wanna do it,
No.
okay? That's
We'll
fine.
just keep that in mind.
Yep, okay, and the new, let's talk about the new one first,
Okay, let's go with the price per tons, the revised ones,
okay,
and then we'll do the C and D first, Mike?
Sure.
Right across?
Yep.
Can I just point out that the red highlighted on the first bid,
Is the revised number.
right, but it does not calculate the 150 tons, that's the old price, I did not change that total.
I'm not following you.
yes, I'm sitting here,
I did 150 tons times the dollar,
Oh, the
And that's
24,000
what
at
goes-
the bottom.
yeah, is actually based on the
The third
160.
number down on C and D,
Right.
on the first
Give you the change on
column.
that?
yeah,
She didn't change this, she didn't
The
times
formula
the,
still
times the
calculates.
revised number by the 150 tons.
okay, got it. So we can't use that.
Well, I
that's
can
not
give it to you
correct
right now,
dollar.
the new revised total.
So don't worry about the 150 tons, let's
That's
just
fine.
look at the ton price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just look at the
the
To
time.
make a decision, so I'll just review it quick. Bow Recycling on the C and D, 2023 price was 145. The C and D price on Waste Management is 120. And C and D price in 2023 is 130 on Norton Recycling.
Okay,
2024 on C and D is 151.
got it,
And C and D for Waste Management is 125. And C and D for Mountain Sun staying at 130, 2024. Going to 2025, the last year, the contract for C and D would be 157 a ton. Waste Management's 130. And Mountain Recycling is 150. So when looking at Mountain and Son, they're lower across the board than C and D. And they're slightly higher on the first 2 years on Waste Management, but Waste Management needs to take all of trucking. Did Naughton make a statement about trucking?
I think there's just a backup haul, and I think there's a quote in there for that, there.
Special hauling.
Yeah.
Let's look at the special hauling now. Special
Yeah, I
hauling
guess they glossed over it, thank you.
for Bow Recycling on the C and D is $325, $350, and $375 respectively. Waste Management is $300, $318, and $334. And Naughton C and D special hauling is $300, $325, and $325. So, it looks like again, Bow Recycling is higher on all of them. It looks like Waste Management on the first year is the same as Naughton. The next year, they're slightly lower than Naughton at $318 versus $325, and then they're lower. Waste Management goes to $334 and then $325, so.
Okay,
To me, it looks like at least on the C and D, if Naughton will allow us to haul as well as, did you verify the locations to haul to with Naughton and Son?
Yeah, Bradford, New Hampshire.
Yeah,
24 miles one way.
About the same as what you've been doing?
No, it's much longer.
It's longer.
13.4.
It's like 6 miles longer one way.
It's on my sheet, the
Yeah,
mileage.
look to your left, right by your thumb.
So it's 24.7 miles one way.
All the way to the left.
But we don't know its mileage now. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Oh, Bow Recycling is 13.4. it says.
13,
It depends on which way you go to Naughton is on the mileage. When we looked it up, there was three different ways, depending on how you go.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
about
sure it depends on the weather.
So, alright, going on to the MSW. Bow Recycling, on their revised pricing was 103, and 107, and 111. MSW on Waste Management is 80, 83, 50, and 86.50. And then if you look at Naughton, price per ton, they're 130, 130, 130.
150, awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry, 150. So,
All rusted up.
and looking at
Yeah.
that, Waste Management is much cheaper than all of them, but they wanna do all the hauling.
And under that waste too, you gotta look at their fuel surcharge on that back page. That plays into all of it.
Now, it looks like to me, because of the hauling and everything, Naughton does best on the C and D, and it looks like to me that if we take the hauling out, it looks like Bow Recycling does MSW the best.
So can I throw one more monkey wrench at you?
Yep.
I contacted, the co-op which we belong to, the Concord, Regional Solid Waste Co-op.
Yeah,
We're not part of their trash side, we're part of the landfill side. We're tied to the landfill in Franklin forever. I reached out to Jim Pressure, he said, I asked him what the contract situation was like, and that we were going out to bid and that our contract was up. He came back, he can have, it would be a 7-year contract with the co-op through Wind Waste, which is the former Wheelabrator in Pennacook. The first year's cost would be $85 a ton, and then it's $5 a year increase for the remainder of the contract. However, I tried to get an answer today, definite if they'll accept us, if they won't accept us. I told them I was meeting with you folks tonight, and the big boss who makes the final decision will not be in until Tuesday
and what product was that for, both?
for MSW. They do not do C and D, so I reached out, Lean and I talked, I reached out to the two contractors, Bow Recycling and Naughton and Son, and I reached out and said, should someone else bid who does not do C and D, would you still hold your price on the C and D part? And Norton said they would. They didn't care if they got one side, both sides, no sides. They were flexible, no matter how we wanted to play. And Bow Recycling, when I talked to Stan, he said, no, he would wanna adjust his C and D. He kinda like wanted it all, so,
What about MSW?
what's that? No, he wanted MSW and C and D, Bow Recycling.
Right, but if you gave Norton C and D, would he still take MSW?
No, what I'm saying is, if we got accepted to the co-op,
Yeah,
we still would have to have a place for our demo to go.
which would be none.
Correct.
Right, cause Bo will not,
They will
either
not,
wants it all or
Norton's
nothing.
cheaper than him anyway.
Right, but I'm just trying to lay the cards, however, we'll not have an answer until Tuesday, possibly Wednesday morning next week when the big boss gets back.
I gotta tell you, I was hoping that Bow Recycling would have done a lot better on his numbers, being where he was here at that opening. Lean, I'm gonna ask you a question here. On the Bow Recycling, on the 150-ton trips there,
The new price, you wanna know what it is?
no, yeah, well, I'm looking at this, it doesn't make any sense, your chart here, cause
Well,
the price is cheaper, but it doesn't reflect that when you look at the yearly cost.
what do you wanna know, the yearly cost?
Well,
okay,
what I think we should do is take a step back and not process this at all, and get the numbers right on your chart and then make a decision.
I
which
wanna
one do
make,
you look, and can I ask for clarification, which chart are you looking at? Bow?
Look at Bow
Recycling?
Recycling,
Yep,
the red numbers there,
those are new,
your totals don't reflect those red
that's
numbers.
correct, they're now, I just calculated them, the first year would be 21,750. The second
Are you,
year,
where are you at, the average 104 hauls?
no, 150 tons,
Yeah, well, it didn't go up, it went down, Lane, you're going from 16 to,
145.
yeah, she went down from
I'm doing
24.
145 times
Yeah,
150
she's
ton
going down,
average.
right here.
oh, you're up top.
Yeah,
I was on the MSW.
Oh, so,
So you're at 24,
Now, the new price, new total would be 21,750
Yeah.
for the first year, 22,650 for the second year,
okay,
and 23,550 for the third year.
and one below now?
MSW, the new first year would be 15,450.
Okay,
2024 would be $16,050, and 2025 would be 16,650.
that's information you wanted, Dave.
and what was the last one, Lean?
16,650.
650.
The only thing that's driving this decision is, we're gonna need space, we're gonna run out of space at the transfer station, the trash is gonna have to be moved. And when's your drop dead date, when we have to have a place to haul? That's the question to you.
I have to move a load by next Saturday.
So a week from this Saturday,
Cause I
What's,
have an empty container right now,
right?
that would go this Saturday. I'll switch it out, it'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, and then
Right.
after that, by next Saturday, I gotta have a place to go.
Understood.
Why on his C and D on Bow Recycling, when you know the average, cause you looked it up through the co-op of people that are recycling trash and doing C and D, why is he so much higher than the other vendors right now?
Can't answer that. I don't know where he's hauling it to.
I wish
I
we
mean-
asked him when he was in front of us, cause it doesn't make any sense that he is so much higher than the rest of them.
No, but if you look at, on C and D, yeah,
On C and D.
Yeah.
Because if he was reasonable on C and D, I think we'd stick with it, but he's not.
I concur with that statement.
I know I've asked him in the past about the price difference, cause frankly, it goes all in the same building, and it all gets loaded into the same truck, and they said, how come there's a price difference between the two, and we just don't pay one price? And the answer I got was because when you add the wood product to the trailer, they compact it with an excavator, you can't get as much weight with the wood product as if it was a straight load of garbage. They can't get the weight factor, and obviously, last I knew, it was going to Berlin, to the landfill up there, so you wanna get the weight on the truck that you can get on.
Okay, let me ask you one other question, did you check to the container sizes with Norton to see if their trucks could haul them?
I did not know.
Okay, so why don't we have a special meeting or meet next Thursday early enough for you to get a decision?
I'm free all next week, so.
This is what we need to do, we need to
To
get,
get the,
we need
co-op
to-
prices.
So
Get
is
the
Waste
co-op
Management
prices.
out just because they didn't revise the contract like we asked them to, or?
no, Waste Management, unless they haul all of it, they don't want.
Yeah, they didn't revise the contract like
No,
we asked them to.
And under their,
and they don't like the stipulation that we have 30 days to pull out if we decide to, which I said if you need to make it 60 days or 90 days because you have
Oh, I
contract.
thought that was in their contract, I didn't think that was our stipulation.
It was our stipulation that we had 30 days to get out of any of these contracts.
and if you look under their clarifications, the first one, maximum length container we can haul is 22 feet. I have, the two trash ones are 22, the demo is 24.
So they
The
can't
guy
even take
told
it,
him.
they can't take
That's a
it.
24-foot.
He said, I
He
can
said
take
he
it.
could take it.
Yeah, he said he
On the
could.
phone.
So, I don't know, it maybe this person didn't talk to that person and,
Well, we're
we didn't get
talking with a
revised.
salesman rather than a,
So
Yeah.
write this down for yourself, Woody, for Norton and Son Recycling, we need to make sure that they can take those larger containers that you have. Cause we obviously want our containers back, cause you just bought new ones a few years back. And then, ask Bull Recycling one more time in reference to the MSW.
I mean, C and D.
No, he's lower than everybody on MSW. So ask him if we're splitting this up, if he does wanna still do the MSW or not, because,
he already said no.
yeah, he won't
split
take
up.
it if it's split.
well, I know he said that thinking that we're gonna try and keep it together tonight, but tell him it's not looking like we're going to be able to do that. And then let us know about the co-op for next Thursday. Also with the co-op, check your box sizes and all that stuff too.
No, we'd be hauling,
They don't haul,
we'd be hauling.
that's
And where do you haul to?
Common
again?
Cook,
Kind of
exit
yeah.
17.
So my only problem with that is, like these other guys, all will haul for us if you're on vacation.
Right.
My only problem with hauling it direct ourselves is we have no backup.
Yeah, I think I can check or not, I think they'll haul any place you want them to, I think Bo will haul any place they want them to. You're getting them as a backup truck, I don't think that will be an issue. I'll ask them, I don't think that's an
Now,
issue.
who are you gonna ask at the co-op?
No one, you don't ask, the co-op is, you're hauling to the burn plant.
Yeah.
They don't do trucking, they don't do nothing, they take the material and burn it, and it gets shipped, the
Right,
ash gets
so
shipped
if you
out.
give Norton the C and D and the MSW, you're hauling. Who would you be using to haul when you're on vacation?
If we can't have the backup driver we have now,
We
We'll
have
have
an
to-
assistant.
we have an assistant backup driver, then I'll check with Norton, but I don't think it's an issue with him.
No, I
hauling.
think the only, I'm not worried about drivers, I think, let's say the truck goes down, and we have to move product. It would be Norton, would have to, Norton or whoever we choose would have to come in and supplement
I
us
know,
with a
but
truck.
I'm just reminding you, we're giving them a contract for C and D, not MSW, so why would it behoove them to come in and haul our MSW?
Cause they're gonna get paid regardless.
Yeah,
They get paid to haul.
I know, but
They might not have
So
the,
their price, it would just be their hauling price off here, it wouldn't be the,
I know, but
Per ton
those,
price.
what I'm trying to get out to you guys is, those rates on this contract were probably given for hauling price because they have the contract. Whereas if you just call them
So-
out of the blue, they're probably gonna give you a higher number.
let me do this, take it out of the equation, I can call Sizemore over in Boston.
Make sure you take the containers. and
He can
see what
take the containers,
See what he charges to
and
haul.
I can get, cause that's what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he does that, I know some towns that he hauls for, and I can see what his cost is,
That would be good, cause then we'd have a backup.
and then he would,
that's what we're looking for.
Cause what I'm thinking is, if you pull that out, they're not
He-
gonna charge you that same amount, they're gonna give you an increased price.
Right, in other words, you only give me half,
Right.
half the enchilada, I want the full enchilada.
Yeah. So if you get us those, we'll try and answer it for Thursday and,
Well, we're being pushed against the wall now. I just wonder, what contingency do we have? Let's say we can't make a decision Thursday, and you need space. Can we have?
we'd have
recycling?
to make something Thursday. There's no, there's no space.
No, but can both recycling do a one-time?
I
At
think you,
premium?
I think you would be pushing, I know, me personally, if it was me, I'm okay to take your one load now, but I'm not okay to get your contract, I could see,
Some,
No,
Some
we
friction there.
probably ask Norton to do it.
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But
All right, well,
Chris
the thing is,
gonna make a new contract.
you gotta let us know early before Thursday how you're
As
progressing.
soon as I know,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Who leaned?
Yeah, we're meeting on Tuesday to go over his
The
budget.
only other thing I'd like to see is, I know that it's double the distance. Look at, what the extra trips would cost you for the year, so we can kind of put it in the budget backwards and kind of average that out, you
This'll
know?
be more.
It'll be more hours and no fuel.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yep.
we have to kind of take it from here, stick it in this number over here and see, did it benefit us to do that move or not? So just a couple more numbers, I think, and we're
Yeah.
there.
Okay, so you.
That's
want-
gonna be a ballpark, it's not gonna
Yeah,
be,
that's
cause
okay.
out of fuel wise, I mean, the truck gets like 5 miles a gallon,
Just put it high, you know?
so,
Can I just throw something out though? I mean,
and
I
fuel
look-
costs are here, there, and.
Bow Recycling came high on C&D, MSW, they came low. But altogether, they came off their, remember they came to you with
Right.
proposed prices which were astronomical.
I think the other thing you need to look at, and I'm not for any contractor, neutral. I think we need to look at the overall part of it, we need to look at your low here and your high here, what's their average, what's their
Or you
average,
could, Lean
you know
could
what I'm
make,
saying?
Yeah.
Lean
You
could
need
make a
to
third
look at the
spreadsheet
time-
and look at the
time-
average for
And
everything.
see,
Average.
cause even though you might be high on one thing, you're low on the other, your overall might be less than,
Okay.
Do
other
the,
guy.
do the 10 hauls and the 140 hauls, and put the price down if they did everything for their company.
See, just MSW, I'm looking at MSW, I mean, I like that in the sense that they're lower than Norton, and that's the majority of what we send, compared to C&D is, a little bit less.
right,
10 hauls average, it's really 12, it's 12 average, let's say 12 a year.
yeah, this year it'll be, it's 11 hauls as of before today. 12 today, 13, it's gonna be like 13 hauls this year, 12, 13.
Yeah, and if you have the right numbers in all the way across, it's
So your
easy.
MSW, was it 150 tons a year?
No, that's close to 900, it runs between
So this
850 and
number is
9.
wrong on here.
The C and D is 150 ton.
So your low number here, it's not average 150 tons then.
You see, Lean?
Cause you have you have C and D as 150 and
Wait,
MSW
it's
as 150, cause
Oh, so they don't,
he
you
has
don't,
104 hauls as MSW, that he'd only have a ton and a half.
okay,
Right.
MSW charges by the haul?
No,
By the
on-
ton,
By your ton here. on your
everything's
sheet-
by
on
the
your
ton.
sheet.
Yeah,
This has to be, what'd you just say, 900 tons?
Yes, that's what I'm
a year?
budgeting is 900
So this
ton.
has to be 900.
900.
okay, that's a big number.
Which equals 104 hauls.
Yeah,
Correct,
Yes.
that's what, good
Oh,
point.
okay.
Basically 2 hauls a week.
that's why I'm like, those numbers,
900 tons.
cause
Average,
this, the top number for your C and D, you have 10 hauls, which is around 150.
okay,
Cause you said those are,
Yeah,
alright.
C and D maybe.
So I want you to come in
Small
next week
bit
with
off.
Lean, make sure these tons numbers and these hauls make sense on the chart, so we can make an educated decision between
Okay,
them.
See, as it stands now, if that's 900, this is where bulk is. I can pay a little bit more and stay with, if this is low, because that's low compared to, anyone else.
Yeah, I've circled there and there's lowest.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for, I agree with you. But the thing is, if we had to eat it, I don't mind eating it here, because that number's gonna be much smaller than this number.
I think we gotta do some more numbers.
Yeah.
and,
All right,
The other thing, when you call Bow Recycling, say that, we got an additional bid and they're almost identical with Waste Management. He only came halfway to the game to me.
all right, I think we got enough though, you got your homework. Let's, Lean, if you work with them, we're gonna,
Yeah,
let us
we'll
know
work
by Tuesday, Wednesday, so we can at least start planning on it.
yeah, we're gonna meet on Tuesday.
And then when we can look at the totals, like Justin said, then we can make a better decision, do we stick with
But
one?
like you
or
said,
stick-
average.
Right, but I
Average
think you
things
need
out.
to, you need to take in this part, and not just look at the little pieces, you
Yeah,
need to
like
look
the
at the whole
average.
pie.
Yeah, this is a major,
So like
major
you said,
piece
I'm
compared to.
concerned if we don't, about the hauling aspect of it.
What I was saying, this is a major, when you point out, this is the major piece relative to this one.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is gonna be significantly higher number here, and if they're charging the lowest among all of them, this may be the better bargain, when you look at.
You know,
aggregate,
when you do it overall for the year,
Maybe the lowest number.
you're following what we're saying, Lean? We wanna take
Right.
both of them and put their totals for both of them,
Yeah,
for the maximum amount of hauls that he did this year.
yeah,
So
And
Bo,
have it for all three
Bo
companies.
as written may be the best bargain still yet, we need the homework done.
Yeah, we need to do our numbers, some homework on
Okay.
numbers.
Go,
Okay.
thank you, thank you so much.
is that gonna be a problem for you not having a contract with Bo next week?
No, he said that you can go to next Saturday,
I can hold,
one week.
I can hold,
Okay.
you know, I'll still be in, okay with DES, cause there's.
Bring him 10 trucks tomorrow.
I'll break your house.
Well,
Alright.
we do have a contract of them to like Saturday, right?
Till Sunday, but they're open Sunday.
But they're open Saturday,
Open Saturday.
there you go, that's half the battle. Okay, fire department, chief, come on up, are you feeling better?
I'm feeling much better, thank you.
Glad to hear. Is this number 3 for you?
Magnet. A COVID magnet.
It's such is life.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're still here with us and you're doing well.
Lean has pointed out I've already got an error on
Well, we're here to help you go through it.
Are they transposed, like one number to the other?
my phone. No,
Oh, okay.
not even close. I don't know how I did that.
Fire department, right here, huh?
Yeah, it was down a few numbers, down a few in the packet.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
Okay,
get the floor, sir.
number one. Part-time administration, that's me, it's 2%. If we put the 2% in. No, we're at the first line, sorry. 36,000 is what we kinda played with last year, not knowing what we were gonna be at.
Yep.
And obviously we didn't spend all that, so we're leaving it the same.
Yeah.
Even with a 4% pay, if we give the firefighters a 4% pay increase. We'll still stay with that figure.
Okay,
The issue is that our numbers are up. We've had almost 40 more calls than last year, as of tonight.
And we heard a call tonight. while we
Yeah,
were-
there's one again, but we have staffing issues, we don't have a lot of people anymore, so there's less people going to calls, so that's less money, we're paying. So, you know, we're trying to recruit some more people, but it's just the way that things are right now. So the next line is mine, sorry for chief, that the 4% would make it 39.50 from
okay,
38. Forest fire, we keep that figure, every year we've carried that, in case of a forest fire, we have to reimburse the towns that come in. Luckily, we haven't spent that in quite a few years. Training, I'm keeping the same, even though the company that we hire, to do our bi-monthly training, he's increased his prices this year, but I can absorb that. The mutual aid compact, that's up $2,500 from, last year. Just because cost increase in the dispatch, they have salary increases, they're union employees, so they have contracts, insurance, all that falls in the employees. Kept their mutual aid. Chief tries to keep a straight budget, but, there's some costs you just can't, absorb. It would have been quite a bit more, but we just took wear into the compact, so they're paying a pretty good chunk of money, so that affected every town
positively.
positively, it kept our costs down. But, you know, Dunbarton's got some high real estate prices, unfortunately, they go by the real
Assessment.
estate assessment
Yeah.
evaluation, and Dunbarton is considered a rich town if you look at our evaluation compared to some other towns.
Really?
Yep, one of the highest ones in the Merrimack County. If you look at the list of all
Hoppington's
the
in a
towns.
different county,
Um,
is Hoppington in Merrimack?
Chichester, like, I mean, I always bring this up because it drives me crazy. Look at the commercial property that Chichester has on Route 4. And they pay less than we do. And there are other residents in town you know, obviously the valuation's a lot lower. But if you look at that town, see all that commercial property, plus they do more calls than us, and they pay less fee. And our populations are pretty close together, Chichester and Dunbarton. But it's the formula that we use, and we can change something else. It doesn't go by call volume, it goes by population, and goes by evaluation that they get from the state. They use the state's property evaluation figure. Gas is gonna be a little bit more this year, just because the price of gas is up, so I bumped that up a couple $100. Diesel fuel, same thing.
Could you do diesel at 2,000? I don't think, you went over it, you went 1,900, I'd bring it up to 2,000 rather than bring it down from actual spent. Would you go up, would you agree with me there?
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that figure.
I just entered it, I
Today?
ran a report today.
Oh, okay, I
So,
didn't have that one.
I'd
Yep.
raise it to 2,000.
Exactly,
Yeah, we're trying to.
I didn't see the actual.
No, but, we're going to a fire, I can see, we're going to a fire,
Yeah.
we ran out of diesel, we ran out of
No,
gas.
I don't think that'll happen.
We're on a
but-
seesaw here, you're supposed to be on the other side of it.
No, but I'm
The
a
government
realist.
says that there's only so much diesel fuel left in the country, so we'll see what happens.
Okay,
So we're at off supplies, that just keep that figure, sometimes it doesn't get credited in the right line, so. Fire station supplies, that's cleaning supplies and all that stuff we need for the station.
There's a big jump.
yeah,
Telephone,
Went
yeah,
to 12,000.
Oh, that's the mistake.
no, we're at
We'll
the
get to
mistake.
that.
Good,
We didn't
good,
get that far.
Yeah. I
Oh,
can-
that's 2,000.
Alright, so
Okay.
we're at,
2,000,
we're at the, telephone,
yeah,
2,200, cause it was 21 we spent. And mobile phone, 2,000, not 12,000,
Okay,
or not,
So that'll bring your total down to 116?
no.
the next line.
So next line,
No, it doesn't affect your total.
no, department equipment maintenance, that's 12,000. We're at 400,
yeah,
that's
should go
12, that jumps to 12.
Okay,
Before it disappears, it becomes 12.
why, you going from, actual's about 5,000, what's going up this year so much?
Well, there's a lot of things going up, but some stuff from my protective equipment didn't get credited to my equipment maintenance fund
Okay,
for some reason, but we're on that subject. Our engine, all our equipment's old,
okay,
but our engine 2, which is our newest truck, is an 05, so it's 18 years old, and the pump's leaking. So I talked to our pump guy, and thinks he might have to break it down, put in a new packings, possibly, the shaft has to come out to be cleaned.
okay,
Anyways,
that's gonna.
that job alone potentially could be $15,000.
Okay, gotcha,
And then the truck needs tires, the tires are 18 years old, so I gotta put tires on it.
Which line are you on now, John?
My equipment maintenance,
Equipment maintenance.
that's why I bumped it up to 12
okay,
from 10, so there's,
based upon that, is that enough?
well,
Did I?
we'll find out, I guess, but
So
I
it's
think
not
it should be-
400, but how much is
It's
it?
12,000.
12,000,
12,000.
Yeah, I don't know how I got that one on.
It went from 10,000 to 12,000.
Yeah, so that's up too. And then, the truck's just getting older, so we're having less stuff happening, more stuff, repairs, it's gonna happen. He told me, he looked at some stuff the other day, and the 2 front end pumps on both our tankers are basically obsolete, that there is absolutely no parts available for either one of them. One's 40 years old, and the other one's 30 years old. So, this guy works on pumps, that's what he does for a living, and he cannot buy any part for any of those pumps unless we find a second hand somewhere. He just tried repairing a pump for another town on the seacoast, and chasing used stuff down and parts, and the whole project, came to like $30,000, and they could buy a brand new pump. There's only one manufacturer left in the country that makes a front end pump, is Darley, and, the other companies all gone out of business, with the front end pumps, they make midship pumps, so he said if something happens to you, I'm telling you right now, you know, you might have an issue with those, but it is what it is. Dues stay the same. I need to pay one of the ones I normally pay this year, I'm gonna try to reduce that a little. Radios, luckily I didn't have much radio repair. Pages, I didn't buy any pages, it's the first year I haven't bought any pages, but I need to buy some more, just because I had a few and our membership didn't go up, so I held off on pages, but I do need to buy some.
Are those pages pretty expensive now, John?
Yep, they're around, I think they're up to around $6.50 a piece.
Oh, they're pretty.
We're trying to weed ourselves off pagers and go to just cell phones, cause we can be dispatched now over this program that I buy, this I am responding. So if you can get it on your cell phone, a lot of towns are just doing away with pages, cause they're expensive to buy and repair, people break them,
But then are you responsible for everybody's own, you know, they're using their own cell phones?
No, we got a cell phone right now.
you know. We're not responsible for them, we put the app in their phone, it's an app you can get, free app from this company, that's one of the couple, we pay for that service through this I am responding, so, you know, as it improves over the years, I'm sure that, you know, it offers more stuff, more services, and people will be, like I said, a lot of the departments are already weeding away from pagers, but, we're not at that point yet. Fees, I've dropped that in half, we used to have to pay a fee to maintain our fire reporting system, but now the state has offered that service to us, at no cost. So, we've opted to go with the state program instead of going with another company that's out there. A lot of fire reports have to be reported to the state monthly, and,
It's like a software package?
so we used to have to pay another company for that, we no longer do that, so.
Okay.
But I still have to pay for this company I am responding. Protective equipment, keeping that the same even though I spent $28,000. Some of that money, was equipment maintenance, somehow I got in the wrong line,
The
but.
person coding the bill, maybe?
No, I don't know. I have to research it a little more, but I did just have to buy 3 sets of gear. You know, our gear continues to get old and worn out and, shouldn't, can't use structural gear after it's 10 years old. If you do structural firefighting, if you
You mean
don't do
the
structural
helmet
firefighting.
the helmet they found from the forties, you
No,
can't
you
use?
can't use that. So anyways, I just bought 3 sets of gear, and that was, $10,000.
That was paid today.
Yep.
Yep.
Pants and coats and a helmet,
Yep.
and I had to buy some boots, and that bill was $10,000 for only 3 sets of gear.
Now,
It
if
used to be,
you get a new member, will you have to be sized for a gear?
yeah, you should size them, sometimes I have gear that has been, people have left the department, left, it's really good shape, but if it's a structural firefighter, then I have them sized,
Okay,
so it fits properly.
okay,
They offer, you know, actually offer female sizes now, I just sized a female firefighter the other day, and they actually makes females jackets and pants.
what about, and that includes like fire breathing equipment, breathing,
No, that's just separate, that's
That's
just coat, pants, and
okay,
helmet, so, you know, but it's just, you know, it's gone up in price. We still purchase Globe equipment, Globe turnout gear, which is made right in Pittsfield, New Hampshire. It's just, you know, easy to get stuff repaired, I mean, they're basically a local company, you're not dealing with, someone, you know, out of the country or whatever. So, you know, it's unbelievable, that company right in New Hampshire is the biggest manufacturer of protective gear in the world. So anyways,
Where's that, Pittsfield, right?
they've also, they got another plant down south now, and they make fire boots now up in Maine, so they're kind of branching out. Actually, the company got bought out, the Freeze family was a family-run business and owned it. They sold to a big company, but still, we get service right at Pittsfield, if you had a coat get damaged, something you can run it right over.
Mike, again, it's the same question, is that enough in the equipment line?
Yep,
Okay,
and then I had to buy some hose, that's where most of that money went to, between the gear and the hose, but the gear should have been, I guess it was on.
Is it 10,000 for the gear that was done today yet?
Yep.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Yep, it is,
Yep,
okay.
I just ran the report after, he gave me his.
But I also had to buy some hose, cause our hose gets worn out, and, I ended up buying some hose, this year, which came out of that, I don't know. Some new supply hose, some attack hoses. So I was able to purchase some of that, so we keep updating that hose. Stuff just wears out, gets old. Where were we at? Subscriptions, 200 stay the same. My fire prevention line, I normally overspend that for school, but basically all that money goes to buying material to go to the school with. We had some left over from previous years that we handed out this year, so I didn't purchase as much as we did. Fire hydrant repairs, we've got a fire hydrant that is, in need of repair. Well, that figure's different.
I just updated all your numbers today.
5,000, John?
too high?
No. Oh, okay, I'm looking at the wrong one. 5,000, our fire hydrant at Clifford Farms, kind of a unique situation, the pond is higher than the hydrant. So there's a pond up in the woods that feeds that fire hydrant, and so there's pressure on that hydrant, there's head pressure on that hydrant, because the, oh, where my glasses were. So there's a regular fire hydrant we put in there, or we didn't put in, whoever built the system, and so the hydrant is rusted up, frozen up, it's broken, we can't operate it, doesn't work. And the problem is, there's no valve to shut off the water flow to the fire hydrant when they built this pond and piped
Can't
it.
just stuff a rag in there?
Well, I've talked to our road agent, pretty handy guy, and running some suggestions through him, what we should do, how we're gonna be able to get this solved.
So will you
Obviously-
be assisting here?
That's not the one next to the dam,
You're gonna have to
is it?
swim in, stick a rag in the end of it
Yeah,
for the repair.
yeah,
So,
wooden plug,
Yeah.
drive it in.
right,
Is that one next to
so
the
either we
dam?
gotta drain the pond, or get somebody, the diver maybe, to go in
You were joking, you stop.
and plug the pipe, and then dig the hydrant out, buy a new hydrant, or a new pipe. We're still looking to see what's out there, which would work, something with a valve, then put a valve. If we put the hydrant in, then we'll put a valve in, so if this happens in the future, you could shut the water off and work on the hydrant. Now you can't, you kinda screwed, so,
Okay,
we're looking to do something there, I just threw that figure in there. A fire hydrant, if you bought a brand new fire hydrant, they're around $800-900 just for the hydrant.
I've seen some in Goffstown though.
Okay, pulling out, bring it home. I mean, but there are other, maybe some other solutions to it.
But you really can't do it till you get on site.
Right, and so I put that figure in there, hopefully maybe we can get done for that,
Okay,
maybe not, but it's got to be repaired, cause that serves that whole side of town. We just had a fire this fall at the Dirt Doctors, and we tried using it, and it won't open, so, I don't know if a company could come in and try to repair it, or not, but anyways, the water flow is gonna be the issue, shut the
Okay.
water off. So anyways, it needs work, so that's why that 5,000.
okay.
Speaking of hydrants, John Neville called me, I gave him your number direct. They're gonna put a hydrant in at Cater Stables there, and they're gonna give access to the whole town down there. Do
Good,
you have any fires in the area?
Yep.
So, John
Great.
had suggested that during one of the meetings, and they're taking him up on it, cause they wanna have protection for their barns.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause really, over there, we're kinda, same thing, we use Kimball Pond, which is, you know, seasonal, and, we, that hydrant, the brook by Linda Peters, or Linda Landry's,
Yeah.
we've used that in the past for water, but that, again, seasonal, could be up and down. Winter time, there's no permanent hydrant over that corner of town, really.
You know, so they're taking you up on it, he's gonna give you a call to see, what size valve you want there, whether
Yep.
it's 6 inch or
6
8
inch,
inch or
yep.
whatever.
Yep, good,
And, size it for you properly so you can have it ready for your trucks.
that'd be good. Yeah, like I said, that corner of town over there, Montalona, doesn't have much for permanent water supply.
It was nice to see them take you up on the suggestion though, just from being at one of those meetings,
Yeah,
and you suggested it, and now they're implementing it for their,
where's the pond on there? Is it on
they're
there?
making a pond.
Oh, they're making a pond, okay.
They did a calculation out, and John said it was gonna be 125,000 gallons in the pond, so they're gonna dig a pond and make it.
Okay,
They
mitigate
do.
those expenses.
yeah, keeping it the same, we went over this year because we had a battery issue with our, car monitor. It's, like the rest of the world, you can't get a battery, it has a special battery, battery went dead, we ordered one in April, maybe March or April, never came, we've been calling the company, got our ambulance inspected in, November, and they said part of the state rules are you gotta have 2 batteries for your monitor, and we only have one. So Zoll, which is the brand that we use, can't guarantee us a battery, so they were offering reconditioned batteries. So we ended up finally, after a few months, got a reconditioned battery, which we paid more money than I thought it was worth. And then last week, 2 weeks ago, 2 new batteries came
Go figure.
that we had ordered out of
Finally.
the blue. So, we're trying to negotiate with them right now to buy one of our old ones back. They have a program that'll buy them back, so they can refurb them, so we might be able to get a little bit of money out of them.
Okay,
But we kept the new batteries, cause obviously,
better than
Yeah.
used,
better than used, so that put me over
okay.
and my medical expenses. Intercepts, same thing, that's, you're just taking a guess at how many times you're gonna need for a paramedic. Obviously, with more medical calls that we're having, there's a greater chance to need a paramedic. So we were pretty close there last year, but, I threw another one in this year, just to be safe. So that's it, so if you add the new total up,
128,029,
do you? I didn't come up with that.
and then the new increase is 8,556.
The only
What
thing,
did you come up with?
Well, we increased your gas 2,000, and then we changed a $400 line to 12,000.
Okay, I didn't add in the gas,
the only
the
thing,
diesel fuel.
the only thing I'm concerned with is your department equipment maintenance of you asking for, 12,000? And it sounds like with all the challenges, I might consider raising that to like 15.
Hey, I'm all for it.
I can't see you, when it
On
comes to,
what?
on the equipment maintenance line, he described a variety of things going on with the pumps leaking, tires replacement, everything, a variety of things. I just don't think 12,000,
28029?
Yep.
That's what I got too.
yeah, I feel like we should raise that 3,000 more to bring it to 15K.
I think that's a safe figure because, that pump definitely is gonna have to be repaired. And,
You're bringing
Yeah.
12 to 15,000?
Yes, that's 3,000 more, so it'd be, 131,029. John, you described a variety of things, and I think you can't be working with junk.
no, unfortunately, I don't wanna go down as a fire chief and never bought new fire trucks. Because, we haven't bought a truck in 18 years. So, but, you know, we don't run them as much as bigger towns, and they're well maintained and they're well spec.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, nothing, no.
Well, reimbursement for our volunteers.
Say what?
Any changes in reimbursement for our volunteers?
The only thing he's asking that for is we went through the rest of the townspeople this year and tried to bring them up, and I know that you're never gonna be up with everybody else's standards, but,
Yeah, we're gonna bring them up to 4%.
Right, but is that, I
yeah,
think,
but
is,
we brought,
I
We-
think that's sufficient.
you think it's sufficient?
It's ballpark for what other people are paying. I've checked
Okay.
with some other communities, and they
Alright.
call people.
Okay.
And we're pretty close to what everybody's paying per hour for.
I won't tell you what's going on with the volunteers behind you, but the thing is, I'm getting like this.
Yeah, no,
No, I think it's, I just wanna make sure,
I think the 4% is fair,
Okay,
and,
I know we
up those some more.
we reviewed, just in the last couple of years, we did an overhaul. And I think it's been beneficial to the people who have to go on call and then have
Yeah.
a job in the morning too.
I mean, you know, just since we started this the last few years, you know, it's been really a
Helpful.
boost to the
Yeah.
department. And,
well, I guess what he's saying is as a department, if you wanna adjust that a little bit, if you see the need for it, I guess.
yeah, Lean ran it by me, gave me these two new figures.
Yeah.
I mean, the new figures at the 4%, which bumped them up, you
Okay,
know.
I just wanna make sure you were aware.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and
good.
she said if you think, you know, you need more, then, bring it up, but like
Cause
I
we
said-
did look at all the other departments within the town and tried to balance everybody out within the terms of the other. But I know you just implemented this, so you're kind of.
Yeah,
playing
we're still
catch up
trying to
with it.
plan,
Yeah.
but, you know, I have checked with a few other communities that are
Well,
about
well-
our size and, you know, some still do some stipend pay, hourly pay, how that all works out, you know, training pay and that stuff, and, you know, actually, some of our per hour rates are a little bit higher than some of the surrounding towns for those positions, and we have different rates for different positions.
Mhm.
And obviously, some towns are higher.
Right.
You just
Most
don't
of
wanna
fire
be, we don't wanna be in the
chiefs
bottom. Okay.
Most of the chiefs.
Most of
are,
fire
you missed
chiefs
that.
are higher.
So noted, move on.
Yeah, okay, so the hydrant at Clifford Farms, that's one of the things we need to address. Station, the doors, I really like to get those doors raised. Have a hard time getting a contractor to come look at it. I asked a few smaller guys that were kinda interested. So I don't know, if maybe Dave could get.
Is that part of our building maintenance?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Jacone could come.
You're asking?
Oh, John, one other thing I'd like to review with you. You said you took your sign down, but it's actually still up,
I
right?
don't have anything done yet.
That's something that needs to be replaced too.
Yeah.
So next year we gotta make sure to put
No,
that in our budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's in my line, things to ask for. You know, have somebody make and design one for the fire police department.
The other thing I wanna make sure you're aware of is the infamous roof.
Mm-hmm.
I'm prepared to expend dollars and for once do it right.
Yeah.
He's only one selectman.
But the thing is, it's been a albatross around the fire and police
Oh,
department.
yeah, I mean,
And,
it's a strange thing, some days it leaks, some days it doesn't, but this last time, the roof on the newer section, the 3-bay section,
yeah,
which we thought was in better shape, I actually started lifting, the windstones we had. Have to lift it up that section of the roof now.
Didn't one piece fly off or
Yeah,
something?
the facial board or metal, but I'd call it facial.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't part of the roof, it was just the fascia.
Yeah, well, the roof lifted, you can look down and see where the winds got under it, and it's lifted that up. I haven't talked to the guy who repaired it, Lean got a hold of Century.
They just went out and put it back together.
They were at
just to-
I haven't seen a bill for it.
they were at the school working, so they came over that day
Oh, good.
and, put it back on.
Oh.
And looks like somehow they've, you know, that's a raised seam roof, I don't know how they attach it, but it looks like, cause it was wavy, if you look down, the wind had got under that.
yeah,
The wind's never got into that before, you know, they had at the top, at the peak, we had issues up there, blowing wind in and lifting up the cap, but this is the first time it's got under the soffit end and lifted it, so.
Yeah, Yeah,
That's something
some
new.
of it's just crimped on there, so after a while.
Right, cause Woody noticed some tar paper on the lawn of the school, and then we went out and looked, and the metal laying on the lawn of the school, plus tar paper, so it's ripped the tar paper off under the metal, some of it, and blew it away, so.
But he made it weathertight, at least for the winter.
It looks like, yeah, like I said, Lean got a whole look at it today, and, I thought I could go over there and meet him, but, it didn't work out.
And over by the
Actually,
electrical
okay.
panel, that stopped again,
Say what?
goes still,
The what?
over by that electrical panel that comes
Oh,
and goes.
yeah, yeah, it's weird, on some days you would think it would leak on a driving rainy day, doesn't, other days you go in there when I'm just a rainy day, and it's leaking.
And how about the electrician ever move your panel?
Nope.
That's why we encumbered that money.
So I don't know, if
'Cause we got
maybe
a
we
quote.
should, find another electrician,
That's what you were just saying tonight, or Justin, you were saying that.
get,
We were talking about that earlier.
maybe Irish or somebody take a look
Yeah.
at it, I mean, he
Yeah.
said, I don't know what his issue is.
They're gonna be working here the next couple of weeks, trying to get this wrapped up.
Yep, they're scheduled
So,
for the 3rd and the 4th of next
Yeah,
week.
doing exit signs and.
Let's, is there a time limit on that money?
No, it's encumbered,
We've already come with it once, haven't we?
Yeah, but the thing is,
yeah, but
it's a safety issue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's my
I don't
issue.
know
We
what-
keep encumbering, it's gonna be a cucumber.
I don't know what his issue is.
I'd say let's open up for, as Justin recommended, other bids.
okay.
I know we've talked about it for
Yeah,
quite a few months in
Yeah.
joint loss.
Has anybody called that guy up? I think he might have forgotten.
He-
hasn't
no,
he
I see
did.
him.
He said he's
Yeah.
followed up with him numerous
Yeah,
times.
and every time I run into him, I gotta get on and change the panel. I go, yeah, you do. And the last time I talked to him was probably a couple months ago.
Well, it's quite the process, cause he's asked to shut the whole.
Yeah, he's gonna have to shut the
whole
PD
building
down.
down, so it's gotta be
PD
coordinated
and-
with
Yeah.
Both
Chief,
PD and-
Chief Remillard, cause he has to shut the whole building
Yeah,
down.
so the last time I talked to him, that's how we left it. He was gonna meet with Chris and see what would best work for Chris
And it's almost a year.
to be without power for, it's not gonna be a entire day, but, they'll be down a few hours.
I could
And
see
we
them
can't
one,
go to emergency generator, because the emergency generator
Use
runs
the same
through
circuits.
through the panel,
yeah.
so, it's gonna be an issue with the PD. He actually told me maybe he was willing to do it on a weekend.
If you guys reminded me, I wouldn't have shipped the windows to his house, he would've had to come.
So,
No, I'd say if he's not responsive, I'd say it's time for a second or maybe third,
yeah,
bid.
get another price.
I think it's been long enough, it's
Yeah.
time to reach out
Yeah.
to other people.
And as far as the police department, they can go all radios if they have to for that one day.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that easy, I don't think.
I was
Well,
gonna say.
they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, they're gonna have, I think a weekend job is probably more
Well, that's
likely.
what
So
I'm
we're
saying.
still gonna shut them down, so if they get computer issues, I don't think it's,
At least on the
Yeah,
weekend, they're
working,
going
yeah.
through dispatch anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Their
saying.
calls, but
Yeah,
during
that's
the
fine.
week, yeah.
He just needs a notice and,
like I said, he did say to me he would do it on a weekend. But the way I left it was last time we talked, him and Chief Remillard were gonna work out some details. And
well,
Chief has never heard from him.
why don't we get some quotes, and the thing is, if we don't, and the thing is, after we find someone new, we'll give them a courtesy call, saying thank you, but no thank you.
Were they, moving the location?
Nope, actually, he wasn't up in the amperage or anything, there's sufficient amperage, just the panel doesn't have enough circuits in it. So, the last issue, we had the sewer pump issue, we didn't have enough circuits, so he took our 240, 220 used to run our welder, cause we don't weld anymore, but there was a circuit there, so he split that off to get 2 circuits, and that's it, I mean, you can't add anything else. And a lot
So
of
what's that,
things that-
100 amp panel now?
200, 100 or 200. I thought he'd have to up the amperage, and he said, no, it's sufficient.
So it must be a
Amperage,
100, and he's gonna go to a 200.
It might be a 200, he's just gonna put a bigger panel with more circuits.
More circuits,
But
okay.
the power's there, and
You
it
could
just,
look up the quote too, see what he's actually gonna do.
yeah, it was just,
Do they make a 200 amp panel that has more breakers than others? I don't know.
I would assume,
I thought 200 amp panels all had the same number of breakers, but maybe I'm wrong.
I would assume they just,
Lean, if you could work with John, you put out to get specifications that,
Yeah.
they-
Cause you're gonna get a lot of amperage
I have
if
the
you keep
estimate,
going
mine.
down.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got
Make
a
any
comment from
sense?
public regarding this, one of your staff.
We'll check it in.
Give
A
you
lot
a-
of stuff is,
Fred, go ahead.
To give you perspective, I put in a 200 amp service in my house 50 years ago with a 48 circuit breaker box.
Yeah,
And I'm only using half it, cause I wired it for the future, but.
and if you go buy a 200 amp, it's gonna have the same 48 now, I bet you.
Maybe that's 100.
Okay, well, the thing is, we can,
But they kept, you know, we kept needing more power for everything.
How tall is the panel, about that tall?
Yeah, it's about that tall.
That's 100 amp. 200 would be twice that tall.
There's a couple sub panels in the station, because when we put the addition on, when we renovated the upstairs of the fire station,
They fed
there weren't
it
enough
out there.
circuits, so we put a sub up there, ran off of that. And then there's one at the police station, we put the police station
And
dish,
they're probably all pulled out of that
it all
one
comes
panel.
out of the same
Yeah.
panel. And then there's breakers in there that they piggybacking on, because there's not enough, there weren't enough breakers.
Yeah.
okay,
How about
Anyways,
warrant articles?
money for an engine?
Well, the thing is,
We've been putting money away, unfortunately, apparatus keeps getting more expensive, but, you know, the more we have in the bank, we're gonna definitely have to order a new engine, next year.
Just an engine?
when you say next year,
Not
2024.
just- Right,
20,
and
okay.
the problem is, fire apparatus, ambulances now, they used to take less than a year to get built, or 2 years out. Because the chassis, they can't get the chassis, can't get the equipment or material, so towns are running into it. I just talked to a chief today over in Ware, and 2 years out, he got quoted on a new engine. Ware's got an ambulance, been 2 years out. Concord's got 3 or 4 on order, 2 years out, which we used to be in less than a year. So if you ordered it, we're not ready to order one right now. We don't have the,
One of the
Stuff
things that was
together.
interesting you mentioned in the past was leasing,
yeah,
lease to buy.
well, we used to purchase, that's what we did when we bought this one, our last one. And it was 50,000 down, and we paid 50,000 for 4 years. That, we paid $250,000 for that. newest
Should've
truck
bought
we got.
two.
Yeah, we should've. And at the time, it was a, you know, I call it plain Jane engine, but it had everything sufficient we needed. And at the time, 250 was a bargain, and that's what we did. We didn't have the money, so we put 50 down, and then we paid 50 out of my budget every year until it's paid off.
Are you gonna
The
come to
full
us
payment
with
was
some
50.
numbers on them and different ways to finance it next year?
And see what we want.
Okay.
The other big thing right now is buying used apparatus.
Right,
Because there's a huge market right now. Even the biggest cities in the country are buying used apparatus now, because first they don't have to wait, and second the price. Cause there are still a lot of communities, rich communities, you
That
know,
are upgrading their,
Long Island, Pennsylvania, down through there, that automatically replace their trucks in certain years. You know, some of them is less than 10 years. They buy a brand new truck every year, every 10 years, even if they don't need one. So they dump those trucks into the market. So people are buying them up as fast as they can, because they have the cost of a new truck, and you get it immediately.
I almost bought my own fire truck a few
You
years
know,
back.
so used stuff, you know,
was it this big?
and that could be an option to Dunbarton. I mean, we don't run our trucks as much as bigger cities and towns. If you found a really decent truck on the market,
Is there a certain
Yeah.
an area you can look for that?
yeah, there's quite a few companies now that all they do is specialize in used apparatus. And, but the problem with us is,
Our funding,
right, if we saw one available,
can't buy it.
can't buy it until the next town meeting. So, you know, you have to have the money.
You got a month to start looking.
Yeah, right,
Well,
so,
one of the,
but,
one
you
of the
know,
ways,
there's two sides of the whole story, you know? Like us, because we don't use them a lot, they're gonna last a long time. You know, like our engine we need to replace, that's gonna be 34 years old the time we get rid of it. But it's still in really good shape. You know, the chassis was a
we bought a Mack, we, instead of buying an International or a cheaper chassis, we bought the better chassis. We got the aluminum body, it's got a plastic tank in it, and we take care of them. So that truck has lasted, 30-something years is really kinda unheard of today's world. And that's, our engine two is 18 years old already, and that truck's gonna have a lot of life left in the truck. And the trouble is, with new stuff is electronics, they're so electronically driven now.
Get one mouse and.
Reason why, it's the reason why a lot of these towns are going to the used truck, you buy a truck that's already 10 years old, a lot of it's pre-emission stuff, doesn't have computers in it. And for a small town that doesn't use it every day, it might make sense, so we're gonna look at both ways when we go to
One thing with
look at a truck.
One thing with the warrant, what we may wanna do is, word it in the sense that
If a
you
vehicle came available
available,
during the
you're
year,
authorized to spend up to
spend
this,
the money that we have in the bank, in our account.
and have it like a voter approved permission to buy and
Pre-approved,
execute.
right.
So that would have to be a separate warrant.
Yeah,
You're
oh, I'm just-
talking,
Change
you're
the
talking about a
wording.
warrant for not this coming voting year. but
No,
the
I'm
next.
saying this current voting year, so if something comes up next January, you can
Right.
execute.
You could buy it out of the money we have in our capital reserve.
Got a comment from the public?
Yeah, question, John, I know you spent a lot of that money on the tanker last year, I
Yep.
think it was, so how much do we have left?
How much did we spend this year, 2 or 6?
Hmm?
The
I
warrant that you had last year?
100,000.
Yeah, but we had to pay a couple small bills. Right now, the capital reserve says 330,000.
Okay.
But I think we spent 2 to 6,000 more, cause you were
Oh,
up
yeah.
to 120,
It was,
about 6, I think. There were 2 bills that we just paid.
one was 2,500 and one was 1,000.
Okay, so just under 5,000, so
So-
we have $325,000.
Okay, so with that, 325,000, and what do we normally give every year, 60,000?
60 is what we
Yeah.
deposited.
Is that a good number, John, or?
Oh,
Yeah.
you
can
know-
buy-
I mean, I'm just, yeah, I know it's a
no.
good number, but I mean,
Well-
is it too low, or?
It's a
This-
good number for a used truck,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a good number for a
right,
new truck.
cause I know you're
I
talking,
guess there'll be
new truck is, yeah.
60,000 more.
big money.
here,
Yeah,
Cause this is last year.
The thing is, I just wanna, the thing is, we can use the, town meeting to give you the latitude to execute rather than waiting for it. If something comes up, we lose a bargain,
exactly,
we should be able to execute without having to wait for the voters.
Yep.
And
Cause you would never be able to buy a used one unless it came on the market
We'll
a
just
couple
word it to
weeks
be
before
approved
town
by
meeting,
this.
because they go, the good
Right.
used trucks are bought up immediately.
Right, that's
So-
what I'm saying, you can't wait months.
Right, we would never be able to do it unless you've already had that approval,
Right. That's-
or it happened to be a month before town meeting or something, a couple weeks, and you saw one come up.
If you could help word,
Yeah,
have John word something like that.
just change the wording.
I'd like to get
Check
that,
with the attorney on
Yeah.
that.
I know,
I think it would have the selectmen be the authoritative,
Right, recommended by the fire chief and
yeah.
accepted by the.
the thing is, they
selectmen.
say, we're gonna rely on you because you're my subject matter expert.
yeah, I mean, we wouldn't buy something that was not worth buying, but if you can buy something that's half price and can get 15-20 years out of it, it's worth it. in the long
And
run.
what do they come certified, the pumps are certified, or how's that?
Some of these
how's
companies
that
you buy
work?
from, yeah, they come with a warranty. There's 2 or 3 big ones in the country that's all they do. They bring them in, they go through them, recertify them like you can buy a certified car. I know the town of Washington, which we go to meetings up there, they're tied up with a town in Connecticut who, is well off, and they buy new stuff all the time. They've bought 2 trucks from this town in Connecticut. They're their sole, they're in with them, so anytime they get a truck, they don't offer it to anybody but the town of Washington. Somehow they get in with this.
You gotta make some
town.
more friends.
Yeah, they make some friends, and they've got 2 really nice fire trucks from this, town in Connecticut. They get
Well,
the name of it.
I think we would fully support you if you came across the right deal.
Yeah, and like I said, even if it doesn't last as long as a brand new one, you spend half the money for it, that's what these other communities are looking at, the cost, being able to get it, and,
No emissions.
right,
Mm.
and knowing that, yeah, it might not last us 30 years, it might last us 15, but we paid
half the
price.
amount, yeah.
And because that, you know, the price of apparatus is just getting ridiculous. Our sales, the guy who fixed the tanker, I saw him, talked to him a couple weeks ago, and, he just spec'd 2 engines for Connecticut, some town in Connecticut. Cause I said to him, what's ballpark right now for engines? He says, you sitting down? I go, yeah, I just spec'd 2 for a town in Connecticut, Stanford or something, $750 a piece. And they didn't have all the bells and whistles on there. I know Bo just spent 6 something on theirs,
Now,
so-
one thing Chief Remenard does is, he goes out after grants. Are there anything, FEMA grants or anything like that we
Yeah,
can pursue?
Kim did a grant, the firefighter assistance grants, sometimes they, when they put them out, they kinda lean, you know, we want you to purchase protected gear or, you know,
It's
certain
packaged.
things, and some years they say, you know, the bulk of the money will go towards apparatus. If towns wanna put in for apparatus, this year, we'll, you know, award bids on apparatus. Other years, they'll look at other
Okay.
things they wanna do, but there are grants out there. I
Yeah.
mean, this last round, I'm not really sure what was, through, I mean, we purchased all our breathing apparatus through the same grant. Five is a grant, federal grant, we got our air compressor through a grant. We got air packs twice through the grant, we applied before and got denied. We wrote a grant for the air system in the station for exhaust fumes.
So as long as it's on the radar scope, that's all I ask.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
they're wicked time consuming to fill them out. It's quite a process, actually, Tammy did our last one for us, and, you know, it was quite a deal to get it, you know, to fill in all the stuff they want on them.
Gotcha.
But, you know, it's worth pursuing,
Okay.
it's definitely worth pursuing.
All right, I think we got your budget, I think we're good. I say thank you for coming in, I hope you stay healthy. I just wanna end by saying, thank you for your subject matter expertise when it comes to the renovation of this building here.
Yep.
You've been, given good guidance to make it safe, and thank you for that.
As soon as that sprinkler system's powered up, I guess they're gonna test it.
Need to test it,
We're
Yeah.
waiting
what
for
are they waiting for,
They actually
power?
called for their
And-
last, for their
Electrical?
outstanding,
Panel's
Components?
still back ordered
Yeah.
too.
Who gets to go with the
Middle of
fire
January.
thing on the little
Yeah,
test?
no, we don't wanna go that route,
Sort of like the movies.
alright.
Okay. No, but you've been, I know behind the
I
scenes,
haven't done a lot, really.
no, but behind the scenes, we get your input.
Yep.
And it's been so noted, we recognize your input on this board. Sometimes it's a pain in the rear end input, because we gotta do stuff, but that's life, it's gotta be safe, so
Yeah.
thank you for
I
that.
mean,
I
we've done
actually-
some
I did
good
get a
stuff
call
over there,
from
we got a
Fire
new
Tech
fire
today.
alarm panel, which was
They
big.
wanted their $5,000 balances, it's not gonna happen
Say what?
until we inspect it.
Oh,
Fire
From
tech-
our sprinkler system
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
give me any more money till it's done.
Nope,
Nope.
I told her that, it's already
They
gonna.
are all prepped and ready, it is all,
Yeah, I was over
fire
there,
bill works, everything's moved
Okay.
around, they're ready to go, so.
I was over there last week.
You got it? Right there. There we go.
Hey,
It's a
John,
seatbelt, John.
this is one of the few years we're getting money back from you.
Yeah,
It's, his credit card
It's
charges
closed.
Oh,
probably come in.
come on, cut your credit card down, no more
No.
credit cards.
it shouldn't be that much,
Okay,
couple $100.
all right, just make
Might
sure,
have a little
make
bit.
sure if, as you do end up the year, gotta get the receipts in to
Oh,
the
yeah.
town office, the
Yeah.
receipts gotta come in.
I don't have anything outstanding, there's a couple Amazon, those last 2 purchases are on your Amazon
Mhm.
paperwork, so that should be it.
Okay, well, thank you again.
I don't think there's anything else there.
Good.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
All right, continuing on,
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
capital improvement schedule for 2023 through 2025.
You have a memo from Donna White, I gave you all a copy of it.
Okay. Get to it. Up there, to Mr. Island.
copy, Mike?
I believe I do. You wanna talk to it for a moment?
Yep, she said she'd like to get this rolling, and, it appears that our current capital improvement plan, which is what we use to establish, capital reserve deposits over the years and maintaining the tax rate, from spiking from year to year, it has technically expired
Okay,
as of 2020. She'd like to, now that, the hazard mitigation is behind us, she'd like to move forward and spearhead this as the,
chair.
yep, is willing to do that, and she just needs a selectman's rep to volunteer to participate in this, and if you give her the blessing, she will start, notifying the departments of,
I think, I have a couple of opportunities, I have a couple of opportunities I wanna work on with her on, some land things that I've already talked about,
mhm.
and, so I'll probably start with it and try it, Mike, and.
We'll pencil you in then?
Yeah.
Notice I say pencil, not ink.
So you'll be
Pencil
the
me
s-
in for now.
you'll be the
Oh, wait a minute, I'm
selectman's
getting some feedback from the audience, they say ink you in.
I was gonna say, I think ain't you, eh?
I
So
have a
be it.
couple of things I wanna go over
Sure.
with her on that stuff.
No,
we've
I
worked
think
on.
we need to get that going. It's never been done under my tenure or since I've been here, as a resident of a town,
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it,
yeah,
and we've adjusted our capital improvements.
okay.
Okay, so I'll let her know that you're interested in getting involved with it.
And she's now, we have consensus, she's now the chair, and she's got the lead. Gentlemen, all in consensus?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, so be it.
Just have her call me and I'll come in and meet with her, okay?
Yep,
Okay, next item, I asked Lean at last meeting to review the salaries for the all paid positions in Dunbarton. And I called her earlier today, she said she's accomplished that, got the information for us.
so what I have done to, make it a little bit easier for the administrative office to review the, the 6-step wage scale for the different departments is I've moved them from all full-time, all part-time, all elected into the departments. So the first one you're looking at that has yellow highlightings is the town clerk department. Then it goes into the administrative department, which is 2 pages long. Then it goes into the transfer station department, followed by the highway department, and then followed by the police department. So these are your approved 6-step wage scale. And the highlighted areas are where your employees currently stand in the wage scale. Some of them, obviously, from longevity are at step 6. And then this also, based on the recommendation of your police chief, established, incentives for the newer, staffing to be able to get, a smaller but closer, period of time, a step increase. So we went from a 3-step to a 6-step. And then on a very large sheet, I basically took all these positions and put them in the one large spreadsheet. And everything that's highlighted in rows K, L, M, N, O have been reviewed by the board. And the ones that are highlighted in column A that are orange, tan, whatever color you would like to call that.
You're
The
on this
board-
page now?
They basically have confirmed that all these step wage scales have been put on this summary sheet. So the board asked me to put together, all the elected officials, the ones that, and outline the ones that have not been reviewed based on a recommendation by the town clerk wanting to increase her position by an additional 4% using the wage study that we used and applied to most of the positions in town. So some of the questions were town clerk. The tax collector did fall under the same, the treasurer did fall under the same review period. Both of those were overlooked based on where they fell in on the wage study. Then the board asked me to include a list with the moderator, supervisor checklist, and the ballot clerks. Those had not been discussed at any time, and those are elected positions as well.
Okay, so we're gonna start at the town clerk,
Mhm.
and she'd asked for 4%, which was like $2,100.
That's in column H,
Yeah. That's
Column
H.
H,
yeah.
okay,
And then column O is actually just the 4%. If you approve the recommended, request of the town clerk, we'd be looking at 58,023.19. So that would be her 4% that she's requested, plus if town meeting vote passes the 4% increase, then it would bring her up to 58,023.
I myself think that the 4%, if you look down through it,
Yes,
it's okay, do you wanna discuss the other ones at the same time, Mike?
well, the only thing is, I don't wanna do a blanket, raise. I think it's, one of the things that Lean spent a lot of time on getting the information for us is where we stand, across the spectrum with other towns, peers, you might say, in New Hampshire. And so I'm all in favor of giving a pay raise, but the thing is, I don't wanna be the top payer of New Hampshire for towns our size for any position. And I don't wanna be the bottom either. I think our goal was, as we started this process, to be somewhere in the middle and be reasonable with any spikes in pay raises. And I'll give you one example, the town administrator was woefully underpaid, she was like near second from the bottom. And the thing is, the town treasurer, as you recall, was near the very top. So I feel like, not do what they call a slice of salami, where we pay everyone 4% if they're doing well. I think we should adjust that, and I think it's almost an insult to say zero, but the thing is, I don't wanna do a salami slice where everyone that we feel is at the top should get 4% on top of the cost of
Other
living.
than the treasurer, did we put anybody below 4%?
Just the highway worker, cause he came in just above the halfway point, and in order to keep, his position in his job description
Yeah.
a little lower than a supervisor
Correct.
of a department, it still brought him with the new step,
Up a little bit.
up to, as you can see, the 29,0809 at,
Where is the, the treasurer's right up at the top. too.
Right at the top.
treasurer's the first one, town clerk's number 2. Another one we haven't looked at is the, tax collector, but she's not up on,
No, and the reason why, this election process which we were implementing is that, we were gonna make pay raises commensurate with the date of election. However, we started it just this year, and there is several people who are in elected positions who are not gonna be eligible for anything for like 2 to 3 years. And so, since we started looking at all the, positions in town, and we started looking at the elected positions, like, the road agent was one of them up for this year, that's one we reviewed, and there's a few others we reviewed for this year. What about those people, I don't wanna leave anything behind, and so I made the suggestion last week that we look at all positions this one time, then implement this policy when it comes up for election.
well, a perfect example is the tax collector. She ran in March this year, but we did not review her salary.
Correct. And so, this way we bring everyone up to a middle of the road, somewhat middle of the road, with our peers.
But you said we don't have anything to look at and compare,
Well, we did last week, you remember.
only on that one, but
On
now
that
we're looking
one.
at several positions.
Right, and that's what
We had the treasurer and the tax collector. I didn't research the ballot clerks, cause they're such a minute cost to they have an hourly, rate.
How much would it be if we did the town treasurer 4% on top of that? Well, it looks like the increase was $336
So
above,
it'd be another,
so another
yeah.
$350 or so.
336.
Right.
We're doing 4%, you said?
No, that's if we did 4%. It'd be an additional 336, so it'd be about,
It'd be a little bit different, cause you have 4 on top.
right, 4 on top of that, right.
Around 350-ish tops, yeah.
So what I'm recommending is, 4%, that was just an arbitrary figure taken out of the air by the by the town clerk. I think we can go a little bit less than that, give them something, but a little bit less than that, it doesn't have to be the 4%, just because it was a figure they proposed. Because I seem to recall, looking at the pay charts last week, we're paying our town treasurer, our town clerk, a little bit on the upper end, not towards the middle. If we go too high, we'll be paying our town officials top dollar. And this is not, regardless of what the fire chief said, this is not a rich town, in my opinion. This is not a Bedford.
So the additional 4% on the treasurer would bring her up to $9,090.63.
How much? Sorry.
9090.
Meet me halfway, I'm saying at least, maybe a 3%.
9,000 what, Lean?
$9,090.63 if I added an additional 4% to the treasurer. The town clerk you have there in that column P, that is
Yeah.
a total of 8%.
And like you said, the other ones are only gonna go up pennies, so.
Pennies.
Right, and then your tax collector's not been looked at, she just started a first year of a 3-year term. And currently, it's budgeted for the 4% CPI that they're
And that
proposing.
brought her up $769 right there.
Yep,
Um, So I make a motion that, we bring up the town treasurer, the town clerk, and the tax collector 3%. And leave the moderator, all the supervisors of the checklist, and the ballot clerks 4%. Cause I think if you look at those positions, the moderator, the supervisor, checklist, and the ballot clerk, you're talking pennies on them.
Dave, before you make that motion, I want you to look at the, before you make the motion, please hold the motion for a moment. Look at the supervisor, the checklist, and the ballot clerks.
Wait a second, I made the motion, is there a second? If there's no second to my motion, then we'll have a discussion after.
Are you is that it before the, CPI, or the
Yes.
cost of living?
yes,
Yep, so if you look at, it's all of the, pink, or whatever you call it, the tan colored ones.
So 4% on moderator, 4% on supervisor, and 4% on ballot,
Yep,
is that what you're proposing?
that's what I'm
3%.
proposing.
is that in addition to the
Yes,
CPI?
yes.
Okay, got it,
That's
CPI is done.
Before COLA.
Yep.
Okay, so we're not talking about
So
CPI.
3% on town clerk, 3% on town treasurer, and 3% on tax collector.
Yeah. And the reason I made that decision is because you're only bringing the other ones up by pennies.
and Lean is,
I second that motion.
Okay, motion been made, seconded, now for discussion, Mike.
I just think we're missing, did you talk about ballot clerks too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
we
at
did.
the 4%.
Okay, and what about,
I did everything in pink.
right, she's missing one category of,
supervisor, the checklist
No.
is there,
the, tally vote counters. They get paid as the same rate as the ballot clerks?
yes,
Okay, see, that's where I distinguished.
Where are they?
They're not on here.
I think we have it grouped in the same, budget line.
Alright, I just wanna point out that the supervisors of the checklist require more, and the ballot clerks require more training and more scrutiny than someone who's just tallying votes.
So why don't you go up 2% on those people if you want?
We don't have them on the list, so.
They're not in the list, I'd say,
Don't worry about it.
no, but I don't, I think,
They are the
without,
same rate though.
yes, they should be maybe a little bit lower than what we give to our.
Ballot
I
count.
think that's for them to clean up.
No, the thing is, the buck stops here, we're
I
the,
know, but they should be suggesting, the moderator and the town clerk should be suggesting that to us.
I agree, but they're not here, and, the thing is, I just wanna do the justice to, I can't see paying,
Well, if you don't bring that up at all and just do what we just did,
Keep
then
it the
they are,
same?
then they are getting higher.
true, but the thing is, how many times have you been in voting booth? You're welcome to this year, please come tonight, please come vote tonight, please come vote tonight. And the thing is, for some people, I've seen over the years, some people do it for the paycheck. And the thing's not much, but there are people who need that few extra dollars. Majority of the people donate it back to the town, but some people actually go there for the paycheck.
I know, but like what I'm
I
trying
think
to
you're
say is,
talking about pennies.
if you leave this like I just put it,
Right,
this is bringing them up 4% over what the other people get paid now.
okay.
You follow me?
In other words, it's not on there, but the thing is.
Yeah, if we don't talk about them, don't bring them up, these people are.
But what I'm saying, I do wanna talk about them, because our volunteers are equally deserving as anyone else would be.
Alright, so what you're saying, on one hand, you don't wanna pay them as much, on the other hand, you don't.
There should be some stratification, some difference
So
between.
what do you wanna give them, 1%?
Give maybe, give them 3%, again, I'm talking about pennies here.
Yeah, you are really splitting pennies.
37 cents to be exact.
And so I'm saying, I'm just saying $9.75,
I know they get paid the same amount, but it's not up to us, that was, should be set by the town clerk and the moderator. Cause right now, if they're at the same pace.
but the thing is, it's gonna have to be approved by us regardless.
Yeah,
So the thing is, I'm saying, at 9:30, we go 9.75 for those positions you just described, and maybe 9.50 for,
oh, I was just
volunteers.
trying to do it by percentage.
I have a comment from the.
No, a question. That, the ballot counters, doesn't that come out of
Yeah,
the town clerk's budget?
Yes, it does.
So why would that be up to you? That would be up to her. Comes out of her budget, she's. the
We
one
control,
who's-
we set our budget.
They have to set the salary.
she would request us to do it, then we would
Right,
get approved.
my point is, that would be up to her to request it, that's my point.
Well,
I guess, let's just.
so,
the way I'm
point
seeing
taken,
it.
but the thing is, it's gonna, buck stop with us.
Okay.
But if you wanna differentiate the two,
That's all I'm asking.
now's a perfect time, cause if we're giving
Okay,
these ones the
All right,
4%,
I propose that, the,
1% or something.
not even 1%, just make it a round number, $9.50 for vote tallies, vote counters, and
Ballot counters, okay,
and and ballot clerks and supervisors checklist, they make $9.75, a little bit more. And for the moderator, make it an even $13 an hour. And for the record, moderator has donated his salary to the town in the past, and he works 18 hours that day.
I don't know where.
And
So you want supervisor of the checklist?
So you're
at
cutting the
975?
moderator by what you just did.
I'm checking that now.
so you're saying that the new wage will be
That would be before COLA.
$9.75,
That'd be before
then there'll be a 4%.
Right.
Okay,
So 975 supervisor of the checklist.
yep, and then ballot clerks.
And ballot clerks, what's not on here are
Ballot
ballot
counters
counters,
would be $9.50. Got it. Plus the 5. I will adjust.
and for the moderator, what would you recommend for the moderator? Who spends 18 hours a
No, you
day?
just said
I
13.
Well,
said
you just said 13.
I said 13,
Plus the 4%.
I'm drafting that, I'm letting the other gentleman chime in here.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
think all of our moderators pretty much in the past have donated their time similar to the selectmen, so.
Well, we have some history right here. Sir, in the past, have you donated your wages to the town?
Most of the time. I used to get $25 an hour from the school moderator, a year. And they raised it to $50 an hour, a year.
I mean, going to 13, what's that, 6% or something?
Yeah, it goes up to $13.52 for the proposal at town meeting.
Okay,
Make it even there.
are we happy with that, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm for
Fred, I'll open up for comment.
Yeah, just to keep in mind that, this is an elected job, okay, and, you want qualified people, it's a hard job, especially, okay?
I totally agree, and
I
that's,
mean, I've did it for 20 years, but not all the rules and regulations they got now either, okay? But you want, I'm gonna say to John as an example, he's gonna be up for a re-election, you want him to come and get re-elected because he's doing a good job,
absolutely.
you know, but, so you gotta have a little incentive for him, but.
We are, we're gonna give them a buck.
No, but even though, regardless of whether they donate to it or not, the intention is there. And when I approached the town clerk, these positions, I asked her about the 4%, and I was saying that, you're at the top now, but I said, you overlooked all these election officials who work maybe once or twice or 3 times a year, we overlook them. And the thing is, if we're gonna do everybody, we gotta look at everybody and include these. And I I don't remember, Fred, do you ever remember when was the last time a raise, other than cost of living raise, when was anything addressed?
Never.
Never.
But, also, like, my wife and I have been tallying votes, okay, for 45 years maybe. We never took money out of it.
Right.
Because that was our give back to the town.
Exactly.
And also, at one time, a lot of people said, I cannot donate my time to the town to a committee or something. This is my way of giving back to the town by donating, so.
And I fully thank you for that. I've donated my time in the past, but, in fact, I get paid, we all get paid up here, a great extra zero bonus for the day.
Right.
But the thing is, there are some people I've seen come in year after year, they're not the top, I know who the best vote counters are.
Yeah,
They're average vote counters, and they're doing it for one thing, they need the dollars.
right.
And the thing is, I give them the respect they do, they're spending their time, and I wanna at least give them
Yeah.
a small amount of token, I think. And that's what we're doing, they're still getting paid a lot less than McDonald's.
So do you wanna do it by percentages like we have been doing, or you wanna go back to dollar amounts?
I can start with dollar amounts and add 4% on top of that.
Well, the 4%'s already done, so
Right,
forget the
forget
4%.
4%, but let's
So
dollar
do you
amounts.
wanna do dollar amounts or do you wanna do percentages? Cause Lean's been working on percentages.
I'd say
so
we just
But
I
start,
was trying
I-
to stay with
yeah,
percentages.
I can say we forget, I don't get wrapped around percentages, I say what would be a good wage? $9.50 for a vote tally, up 20 cents and 4%, and forget 4%. The $9.75 for the supervisor of the checklist, who should be making more than, I think,
Yeah, it'll be just about around
So
$10.
supervisor of the checklist, what are you doing for them? They're
$9.75.
Okay,
Ballot clerks, $9.50.
I thought you said.
No,
they were
$9.75, stand corrected,
$9.75.
stand corrected, you're correct. Ballot counters, which are not on here, $9.50.
And that'll, then $9.75 will be at $10.14
Which is fine.
for the.
does she have a different line item on her budget to do it at the $9.50?
They're combined.
They're combined
Yeah,
now.
ballot clerk and ballot counters are on the same, we'll just document the different wages, that's all. She has it in the same budget now.
In the moderator, I floated the idea of $13 an hour, is that too little, too much?
I think you should leave it because most of them are gonna donate it anyway.
Right, but I don't wanna leave it low, but the thing is, I
You can't correct it to what it should be.
no, but the thing is, we're doing everyone across the board, I just don't wanna leave him in the dust.
And you wanna give him an incentive, it's there if he needs it,
Right.
wants it. Even if he does
That,
return.
we ain't gonna make it big enough for it to be an incentive.
Well, the thing is, he spends a lot of time there, and, you could make it $15 an hour. We know this particular one is not gonna take it, but what happens if he needs it one year? And we
I
still-
think what Linda has encouraged these individuals that have to do training and go to courses and spend a day, to include that with their hourly, costs, because it's not just the day of the event, it's leading up to it, so if they have had 2 or 3 meetings or had to go for training, then Linda's trying to encourage them to bill us for those hours that they go for
I'm
training.
good with making the moderator 15.
Justin,
I'm fine with that.
again, just for the record, if he donates his time as in the precedent has been started, we will be a zero-sum game, but in the event he needs it, he's not getting peanuts. And it's a long day for him. Okay, I'm happy with that, gentlemen, in the discussion. I'm willing to have you withdraw your motion, Dave, and then resubmit it.
You are you?
Yeah, I am.
You want me to keep percentages
I
on
was
the
gonna
top?
say, are you still
Yes.
okay with the percentages on the top today?
Yep.
You sure?
Yes, I have no problems with that, you said 3%, you met me halfway, I'm happy, not just.
3.5%.
No, it was 3%, we don't go half percents here.
Okay, I'm gonna make
Only if
another
it's under-
motion,
Only if it's under one.
gonna make another motion.
So you withdrawn your first motion?
I think Mike withdrew it already on me.
No, but you gotta withdraw, you made it,
I'll withdraw my first motion,
I second that.
and we're gonna make a more difficult motion here. We're gonna make the town treasurer, town clerk, and the tax collector have a 3% raise. And then we're gonna do the moderator at $15 an hour. We're gonna do supervisor of the checklist at $9.75 and ballot clerks at $9.75 and ballot counters at $9.50.
I'll second
Motion's been
that,
made.
I'll second that.
Oh, Okay, motion been made and seconded.
Justin, you're too quiet over there, come on, any comments?
Well, you took his thunder for crying out loud.
Alright, I'll read. Alright,
All in favor?
uh,
Okay, what do I,
Even though I missed one, there's a lot of work that goes into this.
there is, thank you for all the work you put in there.
You're very welcome, glad I did well. Okay, is that mailbox?
Okay, so now everybody should have been done.
Yes,
the entire town was reviewed.
yep, and now I work on my numbers.
Now, just for the record,
30 more years, we'll do it again.
there you go, no,
I will.
I wanna reaffirm that, as we go forward, elected officials will have their salaries reviewed at the time of the year they're going for election. And similar policy that we wanted.
They'll have it reviewed, there may be no change.
Correct,
And that'll be my responsibility to bring it before the board.
right. We attempted it this year, but we realized there was some shortcomings.
Yep.
And that's why we made corrections for everybody.
And so, if we find that they're at the top, there may be no changes left.
Absolutely,
But we'll at least review it. and
Absolutely.
keep up with it.
yep. Okay, town business now. Milfoil grant, we have a Milfoil grant proposal here, I saw.
Yes, we do, we've been awarded a 50% match. All we are required at this time, because there's no milfoil in the pond, is diving. They call it diving dash. And we've been scheduled for maximum of 5 hours. And the total grant amount, did I write it in here? No.
Grant limitation was $1,360.
And it would be a 50% match, so the total warrant will be for how much?
$2,720. New Hampshire will pay 50% of the total budget cost, up to $1,360.
And then the remainder would come out of the, capital reserve fund.
Right. Do we have, just have to sign this?
Motion and.
Motion, do we have a motion to accept this grant, gentlemen?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept this grant as described by the town administrator.
I make a motion to accept this.
No. You couldn't make it by that.
All right, I'm gonna start reading the fine print then.
No, just a
Not the
second,
fine print, just
there's a
review.
little blurb there that's a box.
Use the
Right.
date on that.
All right, let's try it out. All right, then I'll make a proposal to accept this grant from the New Hampshire State, from the New Hampshire, State of New Hampshire,
Department of.
Environmental,
Department of Environmental Services,
yeah,
to the town of Dunbarton, in the amount of $1,360.
Dated.
Not yet. Not dated yet.
Today's date then, cause you're gonna sign it.
Yeah, dated for today, but there's nothing.
from milfoil treatment in 2023.
Thank you for milfoil treatment in 2023. I'm waiting for a second, Jim, I need a second.
I second.
Any further discussion on this?
I'd like to read it first.
There's a lot of fine print here, there's like,
That's your
for the
typical,
town, this one, I, miniature fine print, trying to extract what we need to read.
You got the completion
I'm gonna have to
date,
use your glasses.
you got it right here, Department of Environment, you got the completion date, you got the amount, it's all right here.
Yeah, but the thing is, you gotta realize it's a contract.
You got the account number, you need to do your grant over. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Motion been made, second, all in favor?
You want me to sign it?
No,
Why'd you give me the read
to read it,
Mike has a sign.
You signed it, you
I
pay
don't
it.
read it.
yeah.
We need this information for our warrant.
Well, that's good, I'm glad we have that.
I believe the town's portion comes out of the fund, right?
Right, capital reserve, and there's still like 17 in there.
Right, so it doesn't cost anything.
We didn't use any last year.
No,
Initial
no, no.
one.
It's not filling up the dates.
Sometimes the DES steps in and just
Well, initial
sends their own
it and date it.
divers, so we didn't have to pay for them.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna need to put massages behind us. Believe me.
You
This
guys
is,
aren't breaking any records tonight.
We started out,
We're 7
fire department took a long time.
thing is, a lot of the work's gonna go for, scope of work is gonna be done for divers.
That's all it is,
Yeah.
divers and dashing is what it's called.
Dash and dive.
Yep.
Paragraph 17 is waived with respect to the grant and insurance, it's about insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Motion been made and seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I wanna talk about, Dave, I'll let you talk about this, the grant from Irish Electric. Read that for me.
That's for Patrick Bound, he probably wants to speak on it.
Woody?
Come on up.
You have an Irish Electric quote?
Oh, yes.
Might as well do the fence too while I'm here.
Do the what?
I'll recuse myself from that one.
Oh, yeah. I got another one too. So, you have in front of you a quote, I got a quote for some electrical work at the transfer. Put in a couple new lights, 3 new lights in the recycling center. A light replace the light in the office from fluorescent to LED. The one in the attendance shed to LED. There's one outside light that needs to be changed to LED, and change the heating unit that actually came out of a dumpster when we built the building, put it in there to something a little more efficient.
Okay,
The biggest part of it is, putting a timer system in, so can plug the equipment in and leave it plugged in. As it is now, we either plug it in like Saturday, and it stays plugged in till Tuesday, or I end up going down there and plugging it in Monday night, so it's ready for Tuesday morning. These will be on a timer, so it'll come on, shut off.
so it's
This is out of your budget?
Everything is out of my budget this year. You're gonna get a bunch of money back, because we didn't have a help this year, so we're turning a bunch of money back in.
This is just looking at encumber, right?
Yeah.
Just to encumber it.
Proving it to encumber,
Yeah.
encumber it.
And so that's on the electrical. The other encumber is to have the fence repaired.
where is it broken?
It's broken right on the corner of the glass dumpster, in the, metal dumpster, there's a corner right there.
Is it a warranty job, or is it,
I think it was a daylight warranty,
That's from the accident.
that's when they got
Oh, okay.
someone backed into it,
right, okay.
and there's a broken
Did
wheel.
we ever get anything? No. Okay, police department did file something for that?
That was on the building, and last I heard, that's still being,
Okay,
I paid for it out of my budget, that one there.
right, but the thing is, could you do a follow-up with the chief Remenard on that?
Yes, I can
Because the
follow,
thing is, how much was the bill?
$200.
It may not be,
Our copay is 1,000, so
Yeah,
it wouldn't be
okay.
worth pursuing.
So, and then the
So
fence.
both of these are gonna come out of his maintenance.
That's what he's asking for the board.
And then I had one other that I discussed a little bit with Mike ahead of time. I'm gonna have to put tires on the Mac. I contacted Mr. G's. He cannot give me an official written quote because of their new computer system. If he officially does it, the tires will be ordered, is what he told me. So, I have a
He can't
picture.
do a handwritten slip like he used to.
So what I have a hand, I got the information from him.
It's all on the computer,
Yep.
it's all,
And the tires are through state bid. And then his cost to mount them, and you only balance in the 2 front. And mount, there's 12 tires on that truck. The
Which
total-
truck is it?
A Mack.
And it needs new tires?
It's gonna need tires.
We hardly use that truck.
Yeah, I think you're right.
John's last 30 years.
Yeah, you're not, not supposed to inspect them after 10. The total, and I'm not gonna take out of this year because next year's budget is not gonna be, there's not gonna be room for it next year in my maintenance line.
So how
It's-
much are you talking about?
$7,400 for tires. I have it right here. It's $50 a tire to mount them. It's $25 to balance the 2 front ones.
All the tires are needed on the truck.
You're gonna need them. They're getting worn down. The front ones have only been changed once, maybe twice on that truck. It has 118,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
That's about right.
The back ones, you're gonna get, they won't go on, we'll buy them now, but they won't go on the truck until later on in the year. We'll still wear these down, but everything's going up. Everything's going up stupid money. The front tires are $803 a piece. The back tires are $442 a piece at state bid. This is through the state of New Hampshire who's already put it out to bid. And they're Goodyear tires, that's who has a state bid. So,
Mr. G's has the state bid?
go right through him. And all he's doing, the tires, he gets the tires in, and all we're doing is paying him to mount and balance them.
Okay.
And like I say, he's only balancing the two front ones, the rest of them aren't balanced.
What's the total on it, 74?
I wrote it out for you. I have the paper that he sent me,
He
a
also,
text message.
just to let you know, I verified it as legit, because what he showed me, he has a picture of the computer screen with the numbers, that it's one for one. He just made it easy so you can see that.
Yeah.
It's hard to see in a
I
little.
mean, everything's stupid money right now.
Okay, I'll make a motion that, we encumber $7,401.44 out of his maintenance budget for tires for the Mac for this ensuing year.
I'll second. Alright, discussion, I just wanna make sure, when do you plan on installing them?
Not till later on next year. I wanna wear these down a little more,
Right,
but we're gonna have to have them for next year.
okay, will he store the tires at his place?
No, put them in our,
We store them in our buildings.
Okay.
he's got a Conex there.
Okay,
They're locked up, they'll be fine.
alright. Thank you. All in favor of the motion?
Who did the second?
I did. All in favor of the motion, that's.
Aye.
Done.
Okay, I'll make a motion, to accept the proposal 4818 from Irish Electric, to do electrical work in the bench area, the office, the attendant shed, the Packer building, and the block heater outlets, with a total bid price of $34.88. Did you get anybody else to bid this one?
No, I asked him because he's doing another job for us as well.
He has been the lowest on all our other buildings.
He's,
You've gotta encumber this tonight.
Yeah, I do.
he's doing the,
Okay, next time if you can, try and get two bids for us, I know this is last minute tonight. He has been lowest on everything we've checked him on, but at the same token, we were just reviewed this.
The bid policy, we can do it by emergency or just urgency, but the thing is, this is not an emergency, it's an urgency only because we're at the end of fiscal year. End of calendar year, excuse me. He's currently doing the work down there now?
as soon as we put the can crusher came
Right.
in, we started putting it together.
Is he the one on bid?
And he's the one that's doing that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's some parts missing on
That's
the,
out of the warrant article.
That's
Oh,
on the
yeah, no,
warrant.
understood.
Separate.
and there's some parts missing on the can crusher, so I called the factory.
And these tires are state bid, so that's.
They're state
the
bid,
lowest
yes.
Anyway.
Like I said, Mr. G's price is for the mountain and the two balancing. That's what he told me.
Okay, I'll finish it off, the total is $34.88 and change. And, the only reason we approve this is so we can encumber the money out of this year's budget.
I second that.
Any further discussion on this one at all?
No, this next time if you can, get us two bids, cause, you know, we just reviewed this, we had a couple of people come in here and talk about us doing that. We, you know, we told them what we were insured to get these bids. We did just price them out against other electrical contracts, and they were far cheaper than the other bids we had, so. Less expensive, yeah. Okay, the last proposal I have here to come out of, the transfer station budget is a proposal from G&N Fence to do a repair from accident damage. The total on this proposal is $790. And, it's replacing bent or broken hardware that was part of the damage on the hardware.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion been made and seconded,
And I don't have no discussion of that, it's just a damage done by a resident, unknown.
and again, this is the same, fence company that put that in, so we'd like to use the same company.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. For the record,
Abstain.
abstain,
That's all I know.
okay.
Alright, I'll encumber that one as well,
What's your budget left over?
right there,
Should be like 40,000.
Okay.
53.
Not anymore.
Well, I have some trash bills coming, but I think you'd be probably looking
You're looking
Ju-
at
just make
closer to 30 now.
Yeah.
35.
Make sure you get receipts, any last minute receipts to Lean as soon as you get them.
I've already encumbered those,
Okay,
we're good.
excellent. All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank
Hey,
you.
I fought for the volunteers today, I got overruled. Okay,
You raised it, all right.
yeah, I got it right here.
What are we looking at on that?
Oh, we're looking at maybe,
Ching.
Really?
They're not cheap.
they're not telling me what their old rates were,
Drumming them is dropping, let me see, I'll tell you what their old rates were.
it's not on there.
Before there were a few that were under 200, now they're all listed as,
$230?
I think the,
They were $275
Sean
on
was
the
the-
last one, I thought.
Sean was over 200, maybe 225, and then the others were just under 200, now I don't see any.
It's all one rate.
Mm,
This isn't right.
What?
I can tell you right now, we've been paying them $275 or something, that's an error in this.
If that's less, I'll take it.
This is $230 per hour.
Who, is he listed on that, or is that for his workers?
It's workers, Decker, Matthew Decker, Christine.
Okay, so then it doesn't
No,
include
Sean
his.
Tangway's on here,
Oh, it is,
Steve Whitley's on here,
okay,
there's an error here.
okay.
There's
Well,
no
we got it.
attorneys working for $230 an hour anymore.
Okay, well,
I'll
we'll take.
sign it, let's accept it before they take it back.
Has it got the
I
right
can
date
tell you
on it?
there's an error. It's
Does it have the right date on
We
it?
just came in.
That should be $330 an hour, not $230.
I think, they made a mistake.
They did for sure.
I think we should take this to our attorneys.
I'm not gonna ask.
No, sign
I'm
it,
gonna
when they send us in a bill,
Yeah,
just verify it against that and say, hey,
yeah,
per your letter, it was.
well, I'm gonna put it in the file, we always hold them.
Yeah,
That's, there's an error there, pretty.
Hmm,
All right, we have another thing, for some, bridge aid.
that, we had a public hearing this
Right.
past summer, and we included both the House bills that were discussed, and then this one here was, just late to get here, it just hit the bank
Has it been
today.
spent already?
No, it's,
We don't spend it till we get it,
Well, we have it now,
and it's non-lapsing, so we
That's
don't
right.
even have to encumber
it doesn't have to,
I like that kind of money. All right, just for the record, we received a one-time bridge payment grant in accordance with Senate Bill 401 for payment of maintenance, construction, and reconstruction of municipally owned bridges. Not that we have a lot of bridges in here, but we can always use money for bridges in the future for current bridge repairs.
I think there was some flexibility there, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
That he could use it for other things.
How long's that last for?
Indefinitely, till he spends it.
Once you cash the check, it's ours.
Right.
But it has to be specific, you can't use it for
Yeah.
like, to supplement, it's supplemental to your budget.
Right,
You can't use it to like buy,
Can only be
doors
used for
the-
maintenance,
doors for the library or something like
Yeah.
that, or a.
Payment can use only
School
on
bus, or-
maintenance, construction, or reconstruction of municipally owned bridges.
Yeah.
The amount was $47,719.48, that buys 2 planks, that's good.
You're gonna make a motion to accept.
no, we already did,
I already
we had a
did.
public hearing on it. It's
We-
just that
Lean
there was the-
included it with a public hearing for the 87,000 earlier in the year,
Yeah,
cause she knew we were gonna get it, but we had just hadn't received it at that point.
We have the check now?
we do, it's in the bank, I just got my treasury deposit
Very nice,
notice.
kudos, that's great. Okay, and notice of 6th fundraiser for, what's this about, Reeds
Reese
Across?
Cross Dunbarton.
Yeah, I think
It's, just a thank you, we'd like to thank, Reeds Across Dunbarton, we'd like to thank citizens of Dunbarton for the continued support for the past 5 years of embracing our newest project, Flags Around Dunbarton. And Flags Around Dunbarton is in partnership with Dunbarton Telephone Company and installed the flags before Memorial Day. And, this is another, they talk about another project, it was basically a thank you to the citizens, to Dunbarton, and, talk about their
with the donation envelope.
donation envelope. And thank you
Pass
for.
it around.
Yeah, pass it around. Thank you for your continued support, in making Dunbar a proud community. If you could put that on the website.
I'll ask him for it electronically.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy, you wanna see that, right? All right. Public comment. Last row. Fred, no?
Jeff must have something.
Public comment?
No initial.
I thought you did, Jeff, you gonna comment? No?
Oh, well, I got a couple comments.
Please.
Come on up.
Yeah, well, we
We like to shoot arrows here.
yeah, well, it's just a general comment. I mean, we had a discussion earlier about maybe doing something with the budget for the
the maintenance budget?
Just bear in mind that, that organization is made up with representatives from the town forest and the conservation commission and members from the public. Both the conservation commission and the town forest commission have monies of their own. Town forest has money and the conservation commission gets money from,
Current use.
current use penalties, so. It's not like that they're destitute. And those.
I think they
those
felt that,
accounts, those
I think they
accounts-
felt that with the other,
Yeah, those counts are replenished every year. The town forest is replenished through sand and gravel sales and when we do timber cutoffs, and conservation gets 50% of the grant. I'm just saying, I mean, there are other options to fund the work that they're talking about, just to bear that in mind.
Are you in that committee?
I'm on the town forest committee, I'm not a representative of.
but as far as I know, the town forest or the conservation commission have never donated to that.
Don't we, not that my knowledge, Fred could tell you better than I could, but I don't believe they have, but, I mean, there are other options to fund the issue they're talking about.
I think what happened
Without
was the other
taxes.
selectmen X'd them off the list of,
Oh, yeah, no,
they cut the $1,000 line item that was always on there since the purchase. The only thing for me is, I like to have it earmarked on the budget only because when we got that piece of property donated.
Yep.
You know, it was the town's responsibility, not specifically the town forest, and not specifically the
I'm
conservation.
just making a general
You
statement.
can fund that with $1, and that would allow the selectmen to move money within the budget to that,
The-
if something urgent comes
Yeah,
up.
I asked them to come up with a dollar amount, either 800 or 1,000, and give it to us, it was 800 before.
I think, I do agree, if the town is gonna own and accept land, they have to be prepared to maintain it and take care of it at whatever level, whether that's mowing, cutting trees, or whatever needs to be done to maintain it.
You know-
And we own quite a bit of it now, and we should be actively maintaining, I agree with, but I'm just making a statement that it doesn't
Right.
always have to come.
It is nice to think outside of the box like you just did. and
It
come up
doesn't
with
have to
other-
come out of taxes all the time.
I would like to, one thing I wanted to bring up on the selectmen is that is a open pasture, faces south, and I think that would be an opportune area to put a little bit of not all of it, put a small section as a solar farm.
Mike, are you kidding me?
I am not,
Those people would shoot us.
no, but there's no restriction legally that we could not
Read the
do.
restrictions?
Yeah, there is.
Did you
I
read
was
the
gonna
Most
say,
restrictions?
structures.
And
That's to stay away from
Mark
birds.
started reading the restrictions,
I think you
there is
gotta
a
really
rule.
look into that, there's, most of those have
the nesting birds,
pretty
number
good,
one.
they have some
The
types,
only-
but I'm just saying
Oh,
about the
only-
maintenance
we
part.
talk about conservation,
Yeah.
and the thing I see is beautiful green conservation when I see a solar panel.
You see that?
I do, and I think it's, they're not like windmills which cut up birds, all they do is sit there and look fat, dumb and happy and generate revenue for the town.
And the other comment I got, it's, I'm not trying to get in Woody's business or anything like that, but when you think about making your decision, there's two types of ways you're talking about getting rid of trash. One is the real, well, I'm gonna call it the old wheel way to plant in exit 17, which is trash to energy. They burn the trash, create energy, but it creates a pretty toxic heavy metals that don't burn that they have to take to a landfill. And the other one is just a straight, that they're talking about, is just a straight landfill place where they take all the garbage just buried. So there's two different, I mean, I understand, nothing to do with the prices or anything else, but two ways.
Some of our
However,
trash might-
whatever the town's more comfortable with
Some
doing
of our
with their
trash might go there to get burnt after they have it.
Exactly, it's very possible.
You know, we don't know where they go with it.
But typically, the one in, Concord, or Bow Recycling is a landfill. They take it, to a landfill, they don't want trash to energy. Like I said, it's just
Well,
just a general statement again.
The thing is, why we even talking about this is because the transfer station, Woody brought it to our attention that the
Yeah.
prices were going through the roof.
Yeah, yeah,
And he said that if we didn't look at that, we're gonna screw the taxpayers.
no, but I'm
And
just.
in looking at it, they're not going through the roof for most vendors, it's the one that we're using, it was,
Crazy.
you know,
Did
going
you do
way up.
something to make them mad, or Woody?
No, but
Well, it's a lot of trucking.
yeah, it's a challenge, and because of the inflation, fuel
Yeah.
prices, all that
Oh, yeah,
factors
that's
into
what I
it.
mean. It's a, any of this trash business is a trucking orientated thing, that's, it all moves on wheels.
You know, Woody, whatever you gotta do to get a good price for the town,
I'm gonna send them to your house.
Thank you for your comments.
We got an old sand pit, we could dig a hole down.
Jeez.
Better yet.
You wanna do that? No?
As the talking metals leach into the water, will we have enough with arsenic and radon?
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, have a comment?
I've got something.
Go ahead, chief.
I think it got sidetracked when I was pulling my budget.
Okay,
Uh-oh,
About the doors at the fire station,
I'm sorry,
raising the doors at the fire station.
that's on our agenda. You talked about it. It's going on our
you,
maintenance
you
line.
did bring it up.
Yeah,
I thought we did, but then we got sidetracked. on
Yeah, we
the
kinda
doors or
did, but you said we were gonna look for a contractor and get that
Okay.
lifted up.
Cause I did talk to, Crawford Overhead Doors that does our doors, and he's gonna get us a price on not just the two doors, to do the whole station.
Yeah.
So they all look the same,
Yeah,
and
you
they'd
gotta
be
do them all.
better energy efficient, those doors over there are,
just pieces of metal.
just crap, and can't see out of them, and, they're not energy efficient.
What are you going
so-
up 2 more feet
2 feet.
Yeah.
on all of them?
Nope.
Just
You
one?
can't, cause the 3-bay addition is a structural
So you're
beam
gonna do
across
2
the
of them.
top, there's no way to raise those doors, the only doors that can go up are the old section, and there's just brick filler in there, which is just filler, there's no structural.
Yeah,
And
there's
Jeff,
2 on that gable, right?
alright, Jeff Truxell's already looked at it, and he said there's no problem, there's nothing structural in the front, that brickwork is just up against plywood, just
Facade.
facade. So there's really, shouldn't be that big a project. Jeff says, take that out, cut the ply out, and he suggests a laminated beam across there.
We anticipate, we're putting into a maintenance line for the year. And the thing is, 2 things that are costing us is the roof problem.
Yep.
And your doors, those are 2 biggies that we know that, we kinda kicked the can last year, cause you first
Right,
brought it up.
Yep, I know,
But, we're not doing it this year.
okay, but I thought we hadn't talked about it.
No, we got that, and,
Okay.
it's in the fine print.
No, your
Yeah.
building is the big one on the maintenance, list this year.
It's getting the, attention of overly.
And Jeff's roof.
Well,
Yeah, it's gotta be.
This repair.
Thank you.
okay,
it's on the list, I didn't question it. Oh, did we look over the encumbrance list? Do you guys have any concerns or any questions about?
why don't you
What's
talk about that
added?
right now?
See, Jeff brought it up.
Stirring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stirred it up.
I thought we already looked at it.
Well, you
No,
looked
just
at
one
it in the other
department.
office, so, just so you know, the one that's marked December through just December of 2022 are the items that your departments have requested that I either encumber or have made purchases that will affect the bottom line budget, so I have encumbered the exit signs for the town buildings based on the Department of Labor inspection.
Got it.
The next, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items were credit card charges. The transfer station, made purchase by the deadline that, was sent out based on the memo. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, near to the bottom, were the items that have been approved by the board over the year that have not been paid. And that's related to the parking lot, wafer lights on the 2nd floor, lift stage, for the elevator, electrical panel, for the fire department, I guess that's not all there, but, these were discussed at previous board meetings. They had not been entered, and we have them in our pending folder in the accounts payable department, so I wanted to make sure I removed those and held those in reserve for those transactions. And then I just recently received, the Mount William crushed stone ledge for the highway department. He requested that we encumber the $17,009.
Materials for road construction project next year.
So that whole page comes up to 109,
No, it's actually 44,444.
no, it's the page before that.
Those were encumbered earlier, and, that is correct, Dave. And-
The total is 109,578.
Right, from the operating budget.
So what's 109 and 44?
150.
Those are the ones I just processed this month, The ones that were 409, some of them may already have been expended, like the, ERV for the library. That's shown on here, but it would, if I ran the report that offsets this, which is the net down, encumbered funds, you'd see that the, RV for the, ERV for the library, the sidewalk was already paid, pro technology was already paid, so the things that above have already been deducted from the current budget, so this is where we're at with the, so if there's no issues with what we have encumbered, Dave, I'd like that, budget of the operating budget back, because next week will be the last week of all expenses payroll related, and I'd like to provide the board with a, more accurate year end.
This one here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it'll be obsolete by next week, because we have some outstanding stuff that'll be charged.
Okay.
And that's all yours too, right?
That's from the file, I'll put that away, yep.
Okay,
Okay.
anything else, Lee?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, back to the board. Start with Justin, anything for me, Justin?
Everything's good.
We get some good news back from Pro Technologies this week. Lean and I've been on an email that they sent around that does look like they're gonna be able to service us on the elevators. I did ask them if they could give us a budget number for our new budget. I haven't heard anything back.
I'll pick up the phone tomorrow. I did have a lot of emails in my inbox just before I came into the meeting, but,
I didn't see that I was CC'd before I came over, but
yeah.
trying to get us a budget number, so if it's, $1,000 or if
To
it's.
encumber it,
Yes, we can, I don't think we have to encumber, I just wanna have it in our budget proposal.
okay.
I don't care about encumbering the number.
I mean, it's just typically an annual, monitoring, just like they
Right.
do for the, security right now.
I noticed, cause they come out of our maintenance fund, there's a lot of line items, one of my things, I'm gonna tally them up, see how much we actually
I
spent.
did that for you last year when you wanted to cut it to 100,000, and I said, you don't wanna do that, cause just the regular stuff is like $60,000.
No, I
It's
wanna
a
see
lot
their
of-
technology
Yeah,
company.
I pushed it to 150, remember?
Yeah.
We cut it 50 so we could offset, we knew we were gonna have expenses with this one,
Yeah,
incidentals, but
yeah,
thing is, what we did, what Dave suggested, and his wisdom saved us the contingency fees, which they would have charged us. We would have been out 150K easily for contingency fees. We kept it in-house, and our contingency fees were, we executed maybe 30 to 40 at most.
Yeah, they're minimal.
yeah, and they were for extras too,
They were
not
for extras, not
involving.
really
But,
contingencies.
but there were a few.
The contingencies themselves were probably 10,000-15,000 tops.
Which we would have lost, it would have been eaten up by, if it was in-house.
Yeah.
So we self-insured, it was well worth it. Do you understand, everyone understand what we're talking about? Okay. All right, anything else, Dave?
No, I know the flooring is all complete in there, the carpenter's gonna be there finishing up their work. The only guy in there next week, I think, is the painter, and then we're waiting for that electrical panel.
Yeah, and then we could do the fire sprinkler inspection, cause they want their money,
Yeah.
and,
Okay, anything else?
I think that's-
Okay, Chief, I just wanna say, my neighbor is very grateful for the expertise of the fire department and the quick response they did when his wife had an issue.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes, so I just wanna say thank you on behalf of him
Yep.
and neighbor. I've been helping him out quite a bit. His wife is home recovering.
Yeah, he called me the other night and, gave me an update.
Yep.
Thought she might have been still in the hospital, but.
So she's been home for about a little bit over
Called
a
James
week and a
from the
half.
hearse.
Okay, and I wanna say,
I met him there last week.
okay,
I wanna say, thank you to,
He was gonna get us a number to encumber.
all right, all for the panel. Lean, I wanna say thank you to Donna White too, for organizing and putting on the employee, lunch.
Yep.
It was very well done.
It
I
was.
thought it was, kudos to her, please. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
And, I learned more about one of our transfer station employees than I wanted to know, but I think he's a connoisseur when it comes to, good food. All right, I have nothing else, gentlemen, do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn at midnight, 9:40.
No, there was no,
I second.